It's your favorite Compas, and we are back with another great show for you guys. On today's episode, we will get into the latest NFL news. We'll get into some boxing as well. There was some boxing over the weekend. Obviously, we've spoken to, I think, 3 out of the 4 competitors that were in the main event of Amazon Prime, but we'll also have Vic, the producer, join us for Rapid Fire. Dan and Daygo will be here as well. And we will cap off this loaded episode with some typical things that we like to do at the end. But all right, Gilberto, don't you have a question for our viewers and or listeners?
Yes, I do, Fernando. And I think we're in that quiet portion of the NFL offseason. We're waiting for the draft. And it's like, what can we really do? Just pick apart prospects at the pro day. And now let's forget about it. We're going to talk about WrestleMania, boxing, maybe some MMA, maybe some March Madness. Well, it's April now. But Final Four on the horizon. But for the engagement question of the week, it's all about WrestleMania. And you know the main event, right? Yeah. It's going to be, there you go, The Rock and Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. But that's night 1, Fernando. Let me know if I'm getting it right. That's night 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. And then the winner of that matchup will kind of set the rules for night 2. Roman Reigns.
So if Roman Reigns and The Rock win, then it's all out bloodline rules. Anybody can jump in. Anybody can mess with the fight. If Cody Rhodes wins, the bloodline will not have a place in night 2 of
I gotta say, when you say bloodline rules, that sounds actually pretty cool. Bloodline rules. I don't know what that is. Okay, sounds pretty cool.
But yeah, no, and currently The Rock is speaking in Brooklyn, so I'm a little jealous that my boy, our boy's there. We'll talk about our boy in a little bit, but our boy is there. He's in Brooklyn watching it. We'll get to talk to him on. Well, I'm giving away too much. We'll get into that in a second, but go ahead.
We'll get into it right now. Sorry, Noel, but The Rock does. He's going to be in Brooklyn, like you mentioned. But Fernando, focus on the show. We're going to get to Raw in a bit, but right now, the engagement question of the week: are you team Roman Reigns or are you team Cody Rhodes? Fernando, do you want to answer? Because I think I know where you're going to be, but if not, save it for the preview because we're going to have a WrestleMania preview on Wednesday, and you said enough there. Let us know in the live chat or in the replay comments. Team Roman Reigns or Team Cody Rhodes?
I'm good either way, but I think I know what way. I'm telling you, on Wednesday we're going to get into it. But all right, Gilbert, we've been promoting something. There go the cats again. We're promoting something interesting. We just started something new a couple of weeks ago. That's what we like to do. Trial and error. We try and see what works, what people like. Before I get to that, though, make sure if you guys have any questions, any comments, make sure you guys throw it in there. We're talking about a little bit of everything today. So make sure you guys let us know how you guys are feeling. It's a beautiful Monday. It's Lunes Live mixed in with Compas on the Beat. Unfortunately, there will be no show on Tuesday because I will be at Chargers because they start their off-season program. And Gilbert will be giving a talk at a high school. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting. I should send Dan and Daygo to just heckle you during that thing.
But no, sit in the back like he's Billy Madison. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, no. So Gilbert, obviously, like I said, and then Wednesday we will be back. You know what? Let's just give it away now. Wednesday we will be back on at about 1:00 with our boy, our compa, BJ Cruz, Benjamin Cruz. He works for The Ringer. He's a podcast manager. He's part of the trio of at Ringer Wrestling. They talk about all things. BJ's been everywhere, uninterrupted. Bleacher Report. He has been everywhere. He's a great guy. We love having him on. So BJ will be here to preview WrestleMania with us as he boards his flight from New York to Philadelphia to be there for WrestleMania. So we're going to have him on, and I hope you guys can make it. It'll be awesome. BJ's a great guy. You guys will have fun. And Gilbert, he's excited to see us on Friday, so that'll be awesome. But yeah, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Make sure you guys don't miss it. Hit the notification button. But Gilbert, what happens on Thursday morning?
Yeah, so Thursday mornings, if you've joined the Compas on the Beat newsletter, you've been getting emails about everything going on the network here. And yeah, we talk heavy NFL, but we talk about a little bit of everything, wrestling, MMA, boxing, what. And even some show recommendations for Avocado Roast. Then the best part of the newsletter, by the way, is hot takes with Dan and Daygo. He just kind of says whatever he wants. So this last week was he recommended a country music song. The week before that was chill out, Chargers fans. So he had a message for the Chargers fans. So
and he kind of crapped on Jerry Jones last week as well.
Actually, yeah, Jerry
Yeah.
Jones. So check out if you want to just get Dan and Daigo takes, get to compasonthebeat.com. Go to the home screen and look for the shiny gold box. It's gonna pop up after a half a second. Type in your email, whatever it is, blah 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 at compasonthebeat.com. Whatever. Put your email there. Subscribe to the Compas on the Beat newsletter. We've had a good amount of people already subscribed in the last couple of weeks. So I've been pretty encouraged about that. It's been awesome. We're not just sending emails to nobody. So it's been pretty cool. And also Victor's been writing heavy about the baseball season, and we're already fully underway. It's April 1st. I feel like baseball starts in April, not March. I don't know why we're doing it in March, but hey, check out the stories on compasonthebeat.com.
So it's April 1st. Is
Yeah.
Dan and
Oh,
Dago actually going to show up, or is that an April Fool's joke?
I don't know. I was
You,
waiting for you guys to pull a prank.
you know what? I hate when journalists see that this is the thing. I hate when journalists do that stuff. I've been seeing people tweet out like fake stuff, and not just journalists, but like some heavy top-notch execs. Like when they start doing stuff, like I'm like, I don't know. So like if Adam Schefter would tweet out something, I'd be like, whoa, bro, like I think you should chill. Like people actually are take this and kind of run with it. So I like the like I'm
You
gonna be
actually
honest.
reminded me real quick because we do have
Yeah.
a bear. We're not bear of the week, and I have one now, Victor, a bear of the week, because for some reason, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, they're the ones doing a lot of April fooling.
Bro, I was a little nervous, and by the way, I just wanted to start this off by I didn't meet him ever, but I mean, a member of the football community passed away, and Vontae Davis, cornerback. Don't know what happened, so I won't get into that. But at first, I was like, this better not be one of those
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm
Every
like,
year
this
is
better
something that
be,
you go too far.
yeah. And honestly, like, it's, I mean, again, see, the thing is, I just watched the interview of CM Punk with Ariel Hawani on the MMA Hour, and he talked about the night that he's like Chris Benoit passed, like he killed his wife and his son and then killed himself. Well, that night we didn't know any of those details, so we just went in and we started crying and we were talking on camera, and then come to find out a day or two later he had killed his family, and you're like, oh crap, like I said all these beautiful things about him, and it's like so that's why I kind of like you always kind of hesitate when it comes to that kind of stuff. But uh
Yeah.
but speaking of the biggest fool, by the way, this fool texted me.
Hey.
He's like, I'm gonna be at WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, and he's like, when are we gonna grab something to eat? I'm like, well, we're only there for a bit, but maybe maybe in between Friday or
Yeah.
possibly Friday night. But speaking of the biggest fool, Joe Morley, we will be trying to hang out with you out there, obviously.
Raider fan.
Um,
Sorry, that was my
Great
best
friends.
Joe
I was
Morley.
waiting. You know, I told him, I'm like, today I texted him, I'm like, bro, you need to have the biggest journalist out there. You should have him on your pod. You're the biggest Raiders beat reporter, like the best one. You need to have him on your pod. And he sent me a middle finger. Like, that's so rude.
Oh,
You could be
I know.
inspired and you can get valuable information. I mean, I'm just saying, like, he knows what I'm talking about, but I'm sure you do too. But
It's not Adam. It's not Adam Hill, right? Little
and
one.
nah, not Vic Tafer either. Not Paul Gutierrez. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's Joe Morley's guy though. He told me, he's like, stop. He's like, this is my guy. I'm like, all right, I'll lay off. So, but yeah, Gilbert, it's been an interesting couple of days. I mean, last week I was at
Well, hold
opening
on,
day.
Fernando. Can you play the music before we get? Are we getting the show started, or are we still part of the first portion? Because I need some music. And I need.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Montano, who covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro? Joe
Yeah, I
Morley.
almost had a job change there. And
Joe
okay,
Morley.
okay, Joe. This is why we're learning on the live shows. We're trying to figure out when we start doing the promos and when we actually go into the show. So that was, actually we're natural. We went from a not a pushy promo, but a natural free flowing promos to
Yeah,
just conversating with the compas. And
that's what
Joe's
happened.
here putting people on blast. So that's the beauty of a live YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we kind of wanted to do this too, especially because like we told you guys, like we've had Haley on and you guys have been able to ask her questions. Some of you guys are jackasses and try and be funny with it. Other people, like we've had oh my god, we've also had geez, no, it hasn't just been Haley.
Oh yeah, we had Nick
Oh,
Shook.
Oh yeah. Nick Shook. We had Dan and I had Jeff on
Yeah,
last week. We had Reedy on the 2 weeks
yeah.
before
And
that.
don't you
So
get BJ on Wednesday? Keep it going.
we get BJ on Wednesday. Hey, I'm serious. Like, we want to make this more interactive for you guys. So we're hoping you guys are tuning in, because you guys are going to be able to ask people questions. We're actually excited about some of the people that we're trying to get on.
Yeah.
But we are excited about some of that. And Gilbert, it just it was interesting. I went to my first opening day as a media person. I had never done it
Yeah, I
before.
haven't asked you about that.
Last week, I had gone to. I've never been to a Padres opening day, to be honest. I know I live here, but like I just like they've always sucked. Like, I mean, well, when I was a kid, I used to go when Tony Gwynn would play and stuff like I loved watching Tony Gwynn, but like we really weren't like much into it. Like, we're not baseball people. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll watch it now and I get to cover it and stuff like that, but I'm
I think
not.
your
I'm just.
brother sometimes likes baseball, right?
You can ask him if he comes on, but you can ask him when he's a huge baseball fan. But so one year we go to New York on a sibling trip, just my brother, my sister, and myself. In 19, we went to Yankees opening day, and Yankees opening day is sick. The only thing is, like, in the subways after, like, people are there was a Mets fan like mouthing off, and it was a woman, and like the men weren't, like, they were not holding back, like they were going at her and stuff. So it was just funny to see that whole interaction.
Right. Well, speaking of
But
subways, we better get used to them when we go to Philly in a couple of days, because I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not used to public transportation, but you got to get
I've
by
seen
in it.
some of the video. I've seen some
Get
of the
by in the
videos.
East Coast.
I've seen some of the videos coming out of New York, and I'm like, I don't know about this. Look, Joe Morley. My bad. Fernando needs to cover good teams. Hey, I'm
Mm.
covering something sick this weekend, and the weekend after that. So, and then the weekend after that. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot
Yeah.
of fun stuff that we're gonna
It's,
be
it's gonna be a really
covering.
busy April and half of May
Yeah,
for Compas on the beat here.
yeah,
A lot of combat sports, and we'll talk about the draft obviously too.
yeah. But my bad, real quick, just to get out of the baseball out of the way. It was just interesting to cover it as a media person, because it's a super long day. Like, I didn't get out of this, got to the stadium at about 10 something, 10:30, and then I didn't leave till about 7:15. So, and it was Lent, so I couldn't eat meat. So what do they have at games? All a bunch of just like hot dogs and this and that. And I'm like, crap. I'm like, I can't eat anything. So as soon as I left, I
Man,
went to a
you're committed.
Rufio's. Huh? Yeah, of course. Hey, yay, always.
I've been eating plenty of meat on Fridays, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's Thursday and Friday, so that's the
When did
eternal
that,
fight.
when did
Yeah,
it change
yeah.
to Thursday? I thought
When it's
it was.
Holy Thursday and Good Friday, you have to
Oh
do
man,
it those 2 days
I've
as
been out of
well.
the game for a minute. Once
I know. Yeah,
I
you can
passed
come
the
back.
classes for my
You can
communion,
get
whatever.
you can repent and ask for forgiveness, and you
Oh,
can
I
come back.
guess that.
But but it was so funny, because my mom and I have had the same fight for over like 15 years, where like I always tell her, no, it's only one day where we don't have to eat meat. It's Fridays. And it's always that we always fight around the same time about that stuff. So it's always funny to see that. But yeah, so I was at the game, and at times you are kind of like lulled. You're kind of like, okay, like I'm doing other stuff, or like I was watching Rolly Romero versus uh Joe. He'll be on, if he's on it, he'll be on in a
Yeah,
couple minutes.
scared.
So
He's
yeah,
afraid.
yeah, so get ready, because it's gonna be funny if he's on. So I was watching Rolly Romero versus Javante Davis, because I wanted to see how
Yeah,
that, leading into that fight. And then I even watched I even started watching Delbert. We're gonna get into that stuff right now.
Mm,
That I'm segueing into there. So I was watching Rolly Romero and Gervonta Davis, and I watched Pitbull Cruz and Gervonta Davis, and I was like, wow,
yeah,
this
yeah.
could be a pretty good fight. And obviously, you watch what transpired on Saturday, and you're like, it was like, remember what he told us when we were sitting there? Like, he's like, oh, he's a pug, he's this, he's that, and then it just it kind of unraveled. It didn't seem like Rolly had any control of that
Yeah.
fight whatsoever. But what was
Yeah.
your
First of all, I am mad at myself for believing the pug jokes that Rolly Romero told us on this program here. And shout out to Rolly for jumping on. I know it was a rough day for the guy, but
he was awesome with us.
yeah, and we've been trying to get Pitbull Cruz on the show, and hopefully, one day soon. He's a champion now at junior welterweight or light or super lightweight. I hate how they have different names for different names for the same division, whatever. Super lightweight and junior welterweight. He's a new champion. Shout out to him from Mexico. He had a great fight, but I was buying into the whole he's a pug. He looks kind of big. Maybe he looked a little big before the camp, because when I saw this guy, he was in shape. He was ripped. And when you're a pressure fighter like that, Fernando, you better be in top shape. So from the get-go, in the first round, Rolly was on he's wobbly on some bad legs. So you knew it was going to be downhill very quick. So go ahead. Oh my! I did not see Bernard Hopkins in that one.
Did you really not see it?
I saw the beginning. I'm like, okay, good. Have your laugh, Oscar. Why not? Because Rolly and Ryan Garcia have been trading words. You watched the video with Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia.
Vic, do not put the banner up yet, because thank you, Vic. I have another one. This has just happened.
Rollies, you dumbass. Knocked out. Focus on your opponents instead of focusing on me. God damn it. All other fighters, learn from Rollies. Don't talk shit about promoters. There's only 3 of us in the world.
Hey, what a view. What
it's
a view,
it's a lot more than 3, Oscar, but
I didn't say Rollies.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's saying people who act like Rollies.
Oh, like, I don't know, like minions and like basically.
I guess maybe boxers who don't think they need a promoter, but maybe he's kind of talking trash about Devin Haney. Devin Haney's not really committed to anybody either, so I don't know. But there's definitely more than 3 promoters, Oscar. But I get it. Your boys Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero have been trading a lot of.
You think they're boys though?
What, Ryan and
Ryan?
Well, who's the one making the money? It's not Rolly, so I think you got to support at least Ryan Garcia. And by the way, this is a big difference between UFC and boxing. And Delbert mentioned the purser for Rolly Romero, almost $1 million for being a co-main event. Like most UFC fighters don't even get close to $1 million. So, hey, Rolly, like he mentioned, knew how to promote himself. So, let me read the comments. Sorry, I better do better with this. Delbert Salgado, go ahead.
Buenas tardes, compas. Just tuning in. Self-promoting Rolly talked his way into $850K, but he forgot to fight. He's done. I'm out. Yeah. Oh, so Delbert already left? Delbert, come back.
Maybe he'll watch the replay. But hey, Rolly Romero is a good promoter, but it's starting to get to the point where he's not ready for the championship level. He got knocked out by Tank Davis, and then he got knocked out by Pitbull Cruz. And Pitbull Cruz definitely for sure proved to me he's a real deal. He's the one guy who's been able to push Tank Davis, not Ryan Garcia, not Rolly Romero. Like, you know how those guys are fighting between who got beat up, or I guess and Devin Haney. Devin Haney's more on that level, but I would love to see Devin Haney versus Tank Davis. But Rolly Romero proved that he's a real deal. We saw him at Staples Center, I think, Fernando, a couple years ago. And
yeah. They were louder for him than they were for Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, and he destroyed somebody that night, but it was like a nobody. And it was okay. This guy's a real deal. Nice fighting Rolly Romero, and he crushed him the same way Tank Davis did. He was in shape. When you're a pressure fighter, obviously when you're Mexican and you got to stay away from the food, but he has cardios for days. And the hooks, man, they come from you from left, right. He just doesn't let anybody get into a rhythm or a zone. So ask Tank Davis about it, Fernando. But you talked about the crowd that he got in LA. That crowd in Las Vegas was all Pitbull Cruz. Who let the dogs out? Woof, woof, woof. There you go. So we got to get him on the show and shout out to him.
Eduardo Ramirez is who he knocked out. He knocked him out in the second round.
Yeah, that was a nobody, but I'm like, I was impressed with the knockout, but I was like, not really a good
fight.
I
forgot that night he won the vacated WBC silver lightweight title.
Yeah, but it's not really a real title, though. But I'm not even sure this one.
I can't keep up with it. All these
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like they have there's 4 belts that matter, but then they give you an interim belt. Then they give you kind of like something.
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, like Canelo made up his own weight division and his own stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought when you're talking about weight division, I thought Pitbull might struggle at a higher weight class. He went from 135 to 140. He's not a big dude, but hey, he looked like he was in top shape for that. So maybe when you're adding a little more Mexican food, you need to go up in weight, and it worked out just fine for him.
So what do you think is next for him?
I want to see the Tank Davis rematch. Like it has to happen. Like I think Pitbull has proven that, hey, what happened a couple of years ago, I think also at Staples Center, was no fluke. Let's do it again. Like, he could make. There's money too. Like before you go fight the Devin Haney's of the world, or maybe Shakur Stevenson, go fight Pitbull Cruz. You know what you're getting yourself into. If you don't fight him, it's kind of like you knew you were close to the edge there. You might have lost your first fight. maybe it's not worth it. But I think Pitbull Cruz is getting to a point. He's making money. He has a Mexican fan base. He could definitely get a nice paycheck to fight Tank Davis and Pitbull fighting again.
It was at Staples Center. You got his second fight.
Where's the other one?
Crypto Arena.
Oh, that's the same shit. Whatever, same stuff.
Yeah, I'm interested because I mean, Pitbull Cruz. We all know how he is, how skillful he is. He's aggressive. He's a Mexican fighter. So I think it's going to be interesting to see moving forward what he does. Because I think like you said, Gervonta Davis is like the one to go to. Like that's
they're on the same side of the street for boxing promotion.
I mean, Gervonta is going to fight this next guy. He'll probably destroy him, and then it'll be like, okay, who's next? Like
supposedly that guy's good. He's decent, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, because then what? The winner of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, like, does he really want to go that route? Because I don't know if Devin Haney is going to fight Gervonta Davis, to be honest. Like, I think it might be Pitbull Cruz, the one that has to.
Well,
I still think it's funny that him and Ryan were arguing about who Tank knocked out in what way. And I was just like, geez.
I won't bring this up just yet, but let me lay out the scenario for Devin Haney or even Tank Davis. Tank Davis, let's go with that one. Like, fight who you're going to fight. I think it's Frank Martin, and maybe in the summertime, you get by him, you go to a rematch with Pitbull Cruz, and then you fight the winner, most likely Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. And that's 3 fights right there where you make a lot of money. So the best thing you could do when you're a Mayweather or Canelo, you have fights that are brewing, and you make the money. Obviously, it might not be the hardest fights, but that's actually a pretty tough gauntlet if he does it. But it's all about making the money.
What did you think of Sebastian Fondura beating Tim Tszyu for the championships?
So that's a good segue here because I'm starting to worry if you're part of the curse now, Fernando, the Compas on the Beat curse, because we interviewed Tim Tszyu at the Super Bowl and we interviewed Rolly Romero. And
we interviewed Sebastian Fondura before.
That's what I'm saying. So do we count after he lost the first time? I think we took the L on that one because we interviewed him, right? But then he won this one. So is it like, hey, you got to take a loss after you interview with the Compas, but then eventually you'll become a champion. You'll get promoted pretty heavily. I don't know. But
so is Ryan Garcia gonna? That's gonna be interesting.
Ryan Garcia already had his loss. Did we interview him before that? Yeah, we interviewed him before the Tank Davis. No, that might have been.
No, we interviewed him. No, we interviewed him before he fought. He fought in LA, I think.
Yeah,
and we interviewed
him. I
him.
don't remember anymore.
Yeah, we interviewed him right before one of his LA fights. Then he went to Tank Davis after that.
Okay, I can't remember, but we're not on a good streak right now. But Sebastian
Ryan, save us, Ryan. Like you're trying to save all these people on Twitter and all the pedophiles and all this other stuff. Why don't you save us? Like save our record.
The people who need to repent.
Yeah,
Ryan Garcia is trying to save those people, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
but Sebastian Fondura, man, I give him credit when you got knocked out that badly, and you got to reinvent yourself, and you got to go back to the drawing board. What can you do to improve? I was really impressed, man, because he has a nice chin. Because if you're a boxing fan, maybe you're not like the hardcore where you know the names. You want to see guys going at it. Rolly Romero, Pitbull Cruz, and Sebastian Fondura, and Tim Tszyu, especially the main event, they deliver. Like you watch these guys, just the highlights. They're like having all these cuts here on the forehead, on the nose, and the ears. And Tim Tszyu kept throwing the kitchen sink at Fondura. He would not stop punching it. He kept coming forward. When a guy is 6'7", 6'8", and he's throwing you a jab with the right hand. It was just 1-2 combinations, just like this with the length. And he was taking on the shots from Tim Tszyu. And after a while, I was like, man, this guy is cutting the ring. Nice jab, good power on the right. He doesn't have a hook yet. Once he gets a hook, I think he'll be fine. Hey, but shout out to Sebastian Fondura. And I think we asked him when we came on the show about possibly being a champion with his sister. He didn't get it done, but now he did. And that's pretty cool history. The first pair of brother and sisters to become world champions in boxing.
If we interviewed him in person, do you think your arm would get tired of holding the microphone? What would get more tired, your neck or your arm?
I don't know, but this is one of those interviews where you give them a wireless microphone. You don't have to hold it or anything.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't really watch the fight. Dan was the one watching it, and he told me that there was an accidental elbow that hit Tim Tszyu, and that's basically what opened him up. Sebastian just took advantage of it after that.
Yeah, but I want to give also credit to Sebastian. He was getting him a combination, so he contributed to that cut there, and then also Sebastian had a lot of blood too. So I'm sure Tim Tszyu was very shocked about it, and you could tell that he won. Like the other controversy too, Fernando. I think Victor told me is on the weekend that Rolly Romero was up on a scorecard. I don't know why he was getting his ass whooped, but the Tim Tszyu and the Sebastian Fundora fight, that was a split decision, so it was a close fight overall, and it
Tim
seemed like
Tszyu was up at one point.
yeah. So I think it was just the pressure that Sebastian kept coming at him, and he won that fight. So he had to dig deep for that one. He had to go into deep waters with a guy who had a lot of hype, and to go on the Tim Tszyu, Fernando, we interviewed him at the Super Bowl, and I'm like, he has a lot of hype. I haven't seen him too much. He's coming from Australia. He wanted to fight Jermell Charlo. He wanted to fight Terrence Crawford.
I asked him about a couple things, and
Canelo too.
What's name got on my ass about it? Are you hungry? Yeah, you see a big guy and you think I'm hungry.
Check out the interview.
About treats from Australia. I thought that was pretty cool that I was cultured enough to know about some of the treats from Australia.
Yeah, then you asked him about his dad. So it was again, go watch the interview. But I want to see Tim Tszyu back. Hopefully he doesn't get discouraged about this. But I like boxing when people are just not afraid to take a loss here and there and then just come back and do it. And Sebastian Fundora is one of those guys. But I enjoyed
Mayweather screwed a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, and
Mayweather made everybody think you have to go undefeated. No, you don't. Look at Julio Cesar Chavez. He took what, 7 or 8?
Yeah, and I know he went on a lengthy streak. Or even the guy we just showed, Bernard Hopkins, lost early in his career to Roy Jones Jr. and he came back and had a nice career. So it happens. But if you're not like a Tank Davis or a Canelo, where you're picking your fighter to maximize the purse, don't be afraid. Make some money, build the brand, and then come back like Fundora did.
Fundora's next opportunity, I saw that one of his people came out and said that it's a rematch with Tim Tszyu. Yeah. Then he has to fight Terrence Crawford, right? Like that's like
So what I saw, I think he has to fight a mandatory fighter. I don't know who that is. That could be Terrence Crawford.
I thought it was Terrence Crawford, but they said no, we want to fight Tim. Like his promoter came out and said, I think it's going to be Tim Tszyu's rematch.
Supposedly, Errol Spence Jr. I don't think he's a mandatory, but he said he wanted to fight the winner of Tim Tszyu against.
I thought that was funny.
Fundora, so it could be Errol Spence Jr., the mandatory, which maybe it could be Terrence Crawford. I don't know. And then maybe the rematch with Tim Tszyu. But I saw Dan Rayfield tweeted that he got a statement from his promoter saying, hey, it was a last-minute decision to fight Tim Tszyu. Remember, because Keith Thurman pulled out. Yeah. By the way, I did tell you, I got one thing where I did tell you this fight's going to be tougher than Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman is older. Yep. He's been away from the game. Sebastian is young and he's awkward.
One time since 2019.
Yeah, so that one time Keith Thurman, me too. One time I was right. I said it's gonna be a tougher fight, so I'm gonna take my L. W because I take a lot of L's. But the statement that the promoter said, "Hey, it was a last minute fight. We did verbally discuss and agree that we're gonna give Tim Tszyu a rematch in the case that Fundora wins the fight. But it was not a written contract. That's how late it was in the game. But the promoter said, "Hey, I'm a man of my word. If Tim Tszyu wants to get the rematch, he's up first." So I do like that. I appreciate that for him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm just a little. I kind of want to see what's next for him because the Tim Tszyu, like, I wonder if he's gonna take some time off and kind of step away, and then that kind of leaves.
When you take a loss like that, you want to come back and get revenge.
Yeah. What's up, Jorge? You got to stay tuned in a little bit, Jorge.
A little late, but I think he knows why. He probably got the rundown sheet at home, and he saw that Dan Daygo comes on later. So whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Delbert said, "I'm back. I'm back from boxing without. The Saturday card was very good. Tszyu Fundora must be run back. Both class guys. So right. I was gonna ask you about that. What did you think about them after, like, kind of like hugging and standing there with the."
I'm cool with it. That was a slugfest, man. Sometimes you're like rivals, but then you go into a war. You're like, okay, I respect the crap out of you. And what can you do, man? You gotta appreciate your opponent sometimes.
Dan will be here in about 25 minutes, probably. So give us about 25. First, it's Vic.
If we talk too slowly, then he'll take a while. But the faster we go, he'll come on sooner.
Exactly.
And Fernando, and I'll say this about what you're saying about being a good sportsmanship. If it's like
I never said that.
I don't know if it's like baseball or like it's okay. You could be rivals, but when you beat the crap out of each other, it's okay to have some respect, Well,
I think what people hate is when like people like are talking crap going into a fight, and then after they're like hugging and kissing after the fight. Like Victor Ortiz and Floyd Mayweather, they like were talking a lot of crap before that. Then he's over there hugging him and grabbing at him and trying to like. And I think that's
fine. There are exceptions. If you talk a lot of crap and then you get your ass whooped, then we don't need to shake hands. But I don't think these guys are talking.
There you go. See, we can agree on that because like I think there are times where you're kind of like, like I don't know about all that, and then obviously you see.
Or remember when Lamar Jackson was praising the crap out of Patrick Mahomes? I did not like that at all before.
I thought that was really weird, especially because what do you want me to say? Like, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, like you need to kind of chill out. If not, like people are not going to be drawn, and that's why like it was authentic when Conor McGregor used to do it. Cause like you remember, like Conor would do it and he wouldn't like he would say what's up, this, that, but it wasn't as much as what some of these guys do. And then you get situations where people don't want to buy the next fight because they know, oh, these guys are friends or this or that. Like they're just gonna like each other after. No, people want the violence, people want the aggressiveness between them. So yeah, I guess I kind of get it, but at the same time, I'm like, you also have to be careful because if not, people are just not going to buy it and they're going to be like, oh, this fool's just going to talk all this crap, and then he's going to be like, oh, hey, like I love you, let's be friends, stuff like that. So it's just kind of a fine line, if you know what I mean, when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Fernando, I know you promoted BJ jumping on the show on Wednesday, so we're gonna have a full WrestleMania preview. But you want to share some quick thoughts before you watch Raw?
Well, I mean, I'm just interested to see what's gonna happen between Roman Reigns. Well, so okay, you know what? We're gonna talk about that on Wednesday. I want to talk about something else, which is Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. Man, I'll tell you one thing, like that's gotten really heated, and Rhea went on Ariel Helwani's show. No, well, sorry. Last week, Rhea and Becky got into it, and Rhea told her, when you sit at home one day, your daughter's gonna turn to you, and she's gonna see me on TV, and then she's gonna be like, "That's my mommy." And that's when Becky kind of like. See, the thing is that they're either great actresses or like it really was real, because even Dan and I kind of looked at each other, and Dan doesn't BS. He's like, dude, I think that might have been real. Like, I don't think she was expecting that. And then, but I mean, they could be selling as well, so they're great at selling. But then she goes on Helwani's show, and then she says, Becky says, "Oh, I don't have to show my ass out there." Like, she shows her ass. Like, I thought women were at the point now where we didn't have to show our asses. We could wrestle and then just put on a good show. Then Rhea was on today, and she goes, "No, like I don't need to. What I'm saying is I could be in the gym, I could take a picture, and all the freaks and weirdos will come out and they'll give me attention." She's like, "But I want the real Becky Lynch. I want the man. I don't want the mom. I don't want the book promoter. I don't want the wife. I want the man. I want the person that when Nia Jax broke her face, she stood up there, went like this with her face bleeding and saying, I'm the top dog." So I thought that was pretty. And then Becky Lynch actually FaceTimes Helwani, and then, well, again, I think this was scripted, but she hits up Helwani and goes, "Ariel, I'm here. I want to talk to Rhea." So she comes into this, she barges into the studio, starts shoving with Rhea. They get into it, and it was funny to see, but at the same time, you could tell that was a little bit more scripted because there was two producers holding back Becky, and Rhea was just standing there kind of egging her on. So I was like, okay. But I'm interested for that fight because, I mean, the main event is the main event, but I'm excited about the storytelling between Rhea and Becky because Rhea has now fought Charlotte twice at WrestleMania, one as an NXT superstar and one to get the championship. And I think the ascension of Rhea has been interesting because she's completely different. She's more of the mold of Lita and AJ Lee and some of these people that are completely different. She's not the typical, like, I don't know, like the typical deep, like WWE wrestler that you think about or whatever. So she's completely different. She speaks differently. Obviously, she's the leader of a faction. I mean, when you think of leaders of a faction, I mean, if we're being honest, you think of a male. And no, with Rhea, it's like she's the one leading the Judgment Day. She's the leader. She makes everything move. And I think Rhea's done a great job of propping herself up ever since she joined the Judgment Day to really take that thing over. And I'm just interested to see the way this match goes and the way they kind of tell their story. Because I think both of them, Becky's obviously fantastic. We've seen in the past. Funny enough, I was talking about that jackass last week. She, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
I can't cut a promo.
I won't say the name because then
you can't cut a promo. Supposedly, Becky was supposed to tap her out at WrestleMania, but that she was crying, saying, "I ain't gonna tap out. I'm not gonna tap. I don't tap out." You do, you do, but I guess. But I thought that was lame. So that's why Becky had to pin her, and then she even like the one getting pinned, she botched it as well. So yeah, but yeah, I'm interested for this storyline. I'm interested to see where this is going. But again, I could have used this time to talk about the other stuff, but I want to talk about that match. I think that match is going to be very good. And we all saw last year. I thought as well last year that Charlotte and Rhea should have main evented WrestleMania night 1. I thought that would have been incredible, especially because they blew the roof off. But just the way Rhea has connected with the WWE universe is incredible. I think she's great. I think she's great for the sport. And again, she's only like 26 years old. So she's going to be here for a while. So I think it's going to be fantastic, to be honest.
Yeah, we were there last year at SoFi Stadium when Charlotte and Rhea Ripley tore the house down. So I think we were debating about should that have been the main event, and I think I was on board with that. But just to add my 2 cents here, Fernando, I think you covered it pretty well. I was going to ask you because I'm like, this kind of heater that Rhea Ripley has been on is like it kind of compares to what the man did a few years ago, and maybe it's not to the same extent. I think the man had a better one, but you could maybe tell me about that. But I felt like Becky Lynch hasn't been the same since everything you just mentioned. And I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one thinking that. I don't want to say, hey, you can't get married, you can't have kids. But when life came in and she had to stop her career, like she hasn't really picked up where she left off. And I'm like, it doesn't really move the needle for me, Becky Lynch. And then now this rivalry here, I think WWE was doing a great job to kind of get her back where she was a couple years ago, and then kind of going off the heater that Rhea Ripley has right now. But that what she had as a man a few years back, I definitely did not forget that.
I'm interested to see what happens next with Becky because her contract runs out in 2 months. And I was telling Daniel the other day, unless Seth and her want to homeschool their daughter, and I know I'm talking about their daughter, but like this is the interesting part. Unless they want to homeschool their daughter, one of them is going to have to take a back seat in a sense and kind of be at home while the other one's going on tour. And I'm interested to see what happens with Becky pretty soon because her contract's up. Does she decide that she's going to be a real part-timer where she comes in here and there, but she's at home with Rue, or I don't know what she's going to do, but she was on Helwani's show and she said she hasn't re-signed her contract. And she's like, nobody's asked me about it. And it's interesting, but it's not like in the NFL where we know where contracts are coming up. Like sometimes you kind of have to pick at the wrestlers to kind of know when their contract is up. Because they say multi-year. Well, multi-year could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 2.5. Like contracts there are different. But
so knew until she was asked about it in Helwani's show.
Somebody else asked her about it. Then Helwani kind of doubled down and asked her more about it. So that's the thing. We don't know if Becky's gonna re-sign or not. So I'm interested to see kind of where this all goes because I think she ends up I don't think she goes to AEW. I think she's one of the cornerstones of WWE. I think she's really taken it. Like there's been different eras, and I think she is one of the 4 horsewomen of this era. I think it's her, Charlotte. I'll put Rhea in there, and then the next name would be interesting because if Sasha Banks would have stayed, I think Sasha's in there.
I was thinking,
but I think you're kind of like you're mixing in a lot of different names on that 4th name because Bianca could be in there, but Bianca's only been in for about 3 years in the main roster. So there's a lot of names. Well, I mean, and Rhea's only been in there for a little bit, but essentially what we're talking about, the 4 horsewomen of WWE, it was the 4 original: Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Becky. They ushered this new era in of women wrestling where they can be regular wrestlers. They don't have to do bra and panty matches or mud fights and crap like that. They're not just managers. But again, the ones that really broke down that barrier were a while back. But every couple of decades,
I'm gonna say maybe Rookie of the Year, Jade Cargill. There you go, Jade Cargill, because I saw her first promo on SmackDown.
I was kind of disappointed with what they did with that. Because they had her.
It wasn't the best on the mic, but it was the anticipation of being out there and being the specimen.
But my problem is, why did you have her come out, talk, and then go back in, and then come back out?
Yeah, a little confusing. That was cool though, with Naomi and Bianca Belair.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. But again, I would have waited till that moment, have her come out, talk, and fire up I think that was kind of a missed mark right there. But hey, I'm excited for Jade. I saw somebody put a picture on Twitter of her poster in WWE at WrestleMania. So I was like, okay, so Jade is going to participate because because they said that coming out of AEW, she was really raw and not a lot of people knew exactly if she could handle everything. But they said she's been at the Performance Center. She's been busting her ass. And I'm excited to see what happens at WrestleMania because the Royal Rumble was a little snippet of what we're going to see. But But all right, Gilbert, real quick, let's get into some. Let's do a pre-rapid fire before we go. The Saints are going to be holding training camp at UC Irvine. Gilbert, what'd you think about that? And we had heard about that last year because the Chargers are obviously moving up to El Segundo, and then the Rams are obviously TBD on where they're going to be. But that opened up Southern California for a training camp. That was
Orange County.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, like I when the Rams were talking about going back to the Valley and Woodland Hills, I'm like, this is actually a nice facility here with Irvine. Like you got the two massive fields, you could go around in a square. It just seemed like it was pretty nice for them. And I'm like, hey, if they leave, somebody should jump on this. And obviously the Chargers, like you mentioned, have their own facility there. So like the Cowboys playing, they practice in Oxnard even though they play in Dallas. And now the Saints say, you know what's freaking humid out here in New Orleans, and then they come over to UC Irvine.
We might be there next year.
Yeah, New Orleans, and I'll stop by a couple of times for the Saints training camp. I don't know if people will like that, but I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I actually was thinking, I definitely want to go at least.
Yeah, we have to, and but
my friends.
My friends. And now that I think about it, Fernando, when the Saints and the
marching in,
yeah, I was gonna say that's why it threw me off. Saints and the Chargers had their joint practices. I was always impressed with the Saints turnout for the fans, so they're going to be okay in SoCal.
They teased that a little bit a couple of years ago with Drew Brees being there. Then last year, and they're like, you know what? Maybe we might be able to see. Okay, I'm of the old school mindset, Gilbert. I know you're gonna laugh at that because some of the old school stuff, but I'm of the old school mindset that I think training camp shouldn't be anywhere near where you're at. I think it should be completely I think you should go away for the old school, like team camaraderie, stuff like that, especially now where guys are so separated because you have and I'm not trying to take a shot or anything, but like Shedeur Sanders on the first day of camp goes out and goes to a fashion show in Paris. Like you kind of want that tight knit thing. I've always said, and I know I live here and everything, but I think it'd be cool if like a team came to San Diego and kind of did training camp there. And then because teams before used to go away. Remember when Hard Knocks was with the Jets and the Cowboys do it. The Cowboys come up to Oxnard. I'd love for the Jets to go out into the suburbs of what they used to do. They used to go out into the suburbs. The Eagles used to go out to camp somewhere else. Go out, leave for 3-4 weeks and then come back. And I think that would really help. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe Jim Harbaugh changes everything with him being in that RV. Obviously, the first year of that beautiful facility.
I was going to say, they spent money there.
Yeah. But again, I would love to see that old school thing where you kind of leave for a couple. I mean, I know for beat writers it's going to suck and for other people it's going to suck, but I think it'd be pretty cool if teams did that again, especially because like we said, the in-season Hard Knocks is going to be 4 teams from the same division. So that'd be interesting to watch. Maybe a Hard Knocks division for the training camp if they do decide to go away and fans aren't as that'd be a cool road trip. Like if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan and they're practicing in Oregon, that'd be a cool little, or in Montana or stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
It's a good way to build the brand for the franchise too. Obviously, the Cowboys are on a different level, but I like their schedule. I think they're Oxnard for 2 weeks. I remember last year for my training camp tour, I'm like, I got to get them early because they leave in early August or maybe after their first preseason game. So they're there for 2 weeks. All the SoCal fans who root for the Cowboys get to cheer them on. And I don't know when they go back to Dallas, they go back to the indoors because they have a nice
after the second preseason
game. But I don't know when they go back to Dallas for the Jerry World. Is that open to fans there? Because they're indoors.
I think it's only open to people.
That's the crappy
here.
part. Like if you're gonna do that, get 2 weeks on the road and build, like you said, chemistry, camaraderie, and then build the brand and have other fans from different states cheer your team. But I feel bad for the local fans, so have another 2 weeks open for the local fans too.
And see, that's the thing. I think the Rams are doing a great job building internationally. You've seen everywhere that they're building. They're in Asia. They're in Europe. They're in South America. They're all over. There's other teams. The Cowboys do a great job. There's teams that do a really good job of trying to extend their brand. Mexico, I would say, is probably Steelers, Cowboys, 49ers, those and the Raiders. Those are the big 4 in Mexico. And I only know that because we've been down there and obviously we've seen it. But I think it's a chance and an opportunity for new fans to find out about new teams going there. So interesting to say the least. Did Drake May, Jaden Daniels, or Michael Penix's I hate pro days, but did the pro day do anything for you?
Not really, but I'm actually very interested to see what the Commanders do because I think obviously we know Caleb Williams is going to be the number one quarterback. Who's number two, Fernando? I honestly don't know. But from all the smoke screens and the reporting out there, they love Jaden Daniels. They love Drake May. They might trade out. The Cardinals might trade out. People love JJ McCarthy. It's like after Caleb Williams, man, there could be a lot of chaos, Fernando. And obviously we have a feeling that's going to be like 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the top 5. I just don't know the order right now. People are pumping up JJ McCarthy, that being Jim Harbaugh too, one of them being the best quarterback prospect in the draft. But what happens at number 2? And I think
You're
these
not
pro
paying
days,
attention, are you?
he's gonna be the first quarterback
You don't like
taken.
paying attention. You don't pay attention to anything or anybody.
He is going to be so committed to taking care of himself that you're going to have to worry about size or he doesn't weigh enough. Lamar's done a pretty good job with his size. I think Mahomes, I wouldn't consider him a giant because he's going to get the ball out to the playmakers and make plays for Washington.
Did you hear the ending?
It's gonna make plays
For Washington, he said.
Oh, you said Washington?
He said Washington at the very end.
I thought it was naming players. He went from
no,
Mahomes to
he did. But
Lamar.
at the very end, he said for Washington.
Oh, okay. I
I
missed
thought
it.
that was pretty funny. So yeah,
There-
that's why I told you you're not paying attention, are you?
All right, okay. It's gonna be the Commanders then. But yeah, I just see very little on people liking Drake May. Honestly, Fernando, he'll be my number 2 because I'm just a sucker for the intangibles and skill set, and Drake May has it.
Yeah. Can I be honest about something? When I heard about Michael Penix's pro day, like people were raving about him, but I was kind of like, you do know he's a quarterback. Like everybody's like, oh, he's 40, his this, his that, and I'm kind of like, he's a quarterback. Like there were some throws that I saw from his pro day that I'm kind of like,
Everybody raves about his deep ball, but they don't really talk about his overall passing.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I don't like to. There's only one person that can judge, or one thing that can judge. I ain't that person, or spiritual being, or whatever. But I was a little kind of like, I don't know. Like Michael Penix is a beast, but like obviously his medicals are going to be interesting. What people think about is upstairs mentally, and then obviously,
did you see the picture about his elbow? By the way, people like his elbow was popping out. And he went to.
Oh, I did hear about something like that.
Yeah, he went on Twitter and say, "Stop capping," like the kids say, because like there's nothing wrong with his elbow. Like his elbow looks like it's out of place, but it's just
the
like
right one or the left one.
I think it's probably a story. He's righty, right? So the right one.
No, he's a lefty.
Is he?
Yeah, Michael Penix is a lefty.
Oh no, I'm talking about Jaden Daniels.
Oh, my bad. Oh yeah. I did see that.
So his elbow was kind of popping out, and people were saying like he has a bad elbow.
So okay, if Gilbert Manzano right now is the Washington Commanders, you're going Drake May.
I would because he has the size like Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. He's a good creator away from the pocket, like even Patrick Mahomes.
I would sit him for a year.
That's the thing for him. I honestly will sit all these guys, even Caleb Williams. He just does too much for me. He has a lot on his plate, but like chill out, man. Like you'll figure it out. Like when people compared him to Aaron Rodgers, what happened to Aaron Rodgers? He sat for 3 years and then he became the guy who could do a bunch of stuff at one time. So I don't know, but people don't like that when you're the number 1 pick. Hey, but Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, they all sat and they worked out well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But obviously, like we said, we're I don't know. Whatever happens after 2 really interests me. But I'm not gonna get more.
Fernando. I'm not convinced it's gonna be Jaden Daniels, but even though
neither am I. But
even though the coach let it out though,
exactly. No, I know. I'm just giving you crap. But obviously, now let's welcome in Vic, the producer. See, look at that. I segued into the number 2 overall pick. What's going to happen? So let's bring in Vic, the producer, to give us a. Hi, Vic. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Glad to be on here. But let's get right into it. I mean, you guys got into some rapid fire stuff there. So let me go ahead and say you guys up here. So
you won last week.
You did. So you decide whether you go first or you won on that wrestling question that I had, which I also have some WrestleMania stuff going for this week for you guys. But let's start off with some football. First of all, Fernando, are you going first, or are you gonna let Gilbert go first here?
I will. I'll go first.
All right, here we go. Let's say that the first three teams, Bears, Commanders, and Patriots, in the draft go with the quarterback. The next two teams are the Cardinals and the Chargers. Don't have a need for a quarterback, but have many positional needs. Which of the two teams should trade out for a haul of draft picks? Go ahead, Fernando.
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I think that the Cardinals have they're still in a rebuilding stage. They have Jonathan Gannon. I think the Chargers are kind of more. I mean, they're on their own Jim Harbaugh clock, but I feel like the Cardinals should pull back. I think they should go get more picks. I think they should get more players. I still think they're, especially with the Rams, even the Seahawks and the 49ers in your division. I think they should pull away a little bit and kind of be like, you know what, let's keep on building this. I didn't think it was a bad first year under Jonathan Gannon. I thought they showed some stuff, but they did trade away some players like Isaiah Simmons and some other guys like that. I think they still need some cornerback help. I'm still going to say I think they need some offensive line help. I know obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. would be a huge get for them, but the receiving room isn't all that good for them. But I still think that they have a ways to go, and I think they should peel back, get some more draft picks, accumulate more talent, and try and help get them out of there. But I would go with the Cardinals. I think it's more important for them to kind of retool and rebuild, because they're in a rebuild. I know they have Kyler Murray. I know they're paying him all that money, but they're in a rebuild.
Fernando. So are the Chargers somewhat. So I will go with the Chargers to trade. I'm not saying the question is from these two, who should do it? I think it should be the Chargers because no way you pass up Marvin Harrison Jr. People are talking about this guy like he's the best prospect of the last 10 years. So also debate too. I don't think Kyler Murray should be that guy, but they're going to keep him. We also where all signs are pointing. But you can't say no to Marvin Harrison Jr. And for now, you got a point. The Cardinals have a lot of roster holes. I'm not saying the Cardinals roster is better than the Chargers because at least the Chargers have Justin Herbert. So maybe the work is different. But the Chargers have a lot of needs as well. It's just you can't pass on Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, here's how I lay it out for you. The second that the Cardinals trade down and somebody takes a fourth quarterback in the draft, no hesitation, right? Jim Howard's going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's that guy. So you're going to pass up on that guy if you're the Cardinals. But I am not convinced. I'm not convinced they're going to stay there because of the GM Monty Ossenfort. He came from the Patriots background. You know what the Patriots like to do? They like to trade down. So you're probably going to be right, Fernando. It might be the Cardinals, but you cannot pass on Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's why I'm going with the Chargers to trade down instead of the Cardinals.
Jim Harbaugh's an octopus, bro. He has, hey, let me get JJ McCarthy paid and drafted high, but also let me try and get Marvin Harrison Jr., who kicked my ass for 2 years. Even though we beat them, he still kicked my ass for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm with Gilbert on this one. I mean, the Chargers, I think, just with what they've done, if you look at Jim Harbaugh, also he's gonna try to trade down. He knows he can get a offensive lineman, but the Chargers have so many holes on defense that this is where you can go ahead and maybe take the Vikings offer and get a couple of first round picks here and then start building your roster for this year. So and help out Justin Herbert as well. I mean, you can end up with like a Brock Bowers and a right tackle if you make that trade. So I just think, and like you mentioned, Gilbert, I mean, it's hard to pass up on Marvin Harrison Jr. So your point here, we'll start off with you here for the second question. The way things have gone for the Texans and Packers over the past couple of years, you would say that they're the Spider-Man meme. Both traded their franchise quarterbacks and now have two of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. Which roster are you taking in the next 3 years to win the Super Bowl? The Packers or the Texans?
This is a good question, one that makes you think. And Victor always likes to make us think for a rapid fire. I want to say maybe the Packers roster is better, at least offensively. But I'm here. I'm going to focus on the quarterback. I like C.J. Stroud better than Jordan Love, and Jordan Love really impressed me a year ago. But I got to see Jordan Love finally get over the whole interceptions, forcing throws in crunch time. Obviously, his last throw was an interception to the 49ers. So he still has that tendency that we're like, okay, F it, YOLO, screw this offense that Matt LaFleur built. Shout out to Dan and Daygo right there. But I'm gonna go with CJ Stroud because this guy, he's just an assassin in the pocket, very accurate. That touchdown to interception ratio was off the chain last year. I don't remember the numbers, but I know it was really good. But CJ Stroud is accurate. He's smart. He knows how to pick you apart, and when he gets on fire, he gets on fire. So Give me the Texans right now.
I mean, I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers. They have a more experienced head coach who's been there before. D'Amico Ryans has been there, but he's been there more as a linebacker. Well, actually, he was with the Houston Texans before, so I don't know how much he was there. But I like Green Bay because is CJ Stroud going to go through a sophomore slump? That's going to be the biggest question. Is he going to be teams are going to adapt to him? They're going to have a whole offseason to see him. Whereas Jordan Love is kind of, I mean, he hasn't done it before, but he's been there before when he's seen what he needs to do to adapt. Obviously, he had and they've said that Aaron Rodgers was really good with him, helped him through some things. So I'm sure Green Bay is going to get him more weapons. They're going to do more around him. They need to build up that offensive line. But I think LaFleur has been there enough to where he's a seasoned veteran coach who I think could build something more important with them. And I feel like they have the necessary tools and pieces to get better. And then when you kind of look at their divisions, do you really fear Chicago, even if they get Caleb Williams? Do you fear Minnesota? No. Do you fear Detroit? Not really. I mean, Detroit could be a one-year wonder, and next year it could all unravel. Whereas, I mean, I guess you have the Jaguars on the other division. You have the Colts, and you have the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are kind of like, The Colts will challenge. They always do. And then obviously the Jaguars are going to be interesting to keep an eye out on them. But I think when it comes to division, and obviously conference as well, the conference is a lot harder for CJ Stroud and the Texans. Whereas you look over here and it's like, oh, hey, de un panzazo, you're already in the NFC Championship because there's not that much around them. So yeah. I think a lot of things can change, but I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers for those reasons.
And that's why you get the point there, Fernando. As you mentioned, it's easier to go through the NFC. And also, you look at that roster for the Packers, there's only one player over 29 years old. So it's a young roster that they can build over for the next 3 years. And then you're starting to see actual guys, free agents go to Green Bay and sign. You saw Josh Jacobs. You saw, the safety that they got as well. Before, the Packers were not known as a free agency destination. So
the gymnast, her husband went to the Bears, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's Simone Biles. Learn their name.
There you go.
Yeah. There we go. All right, guys. Tied up 1-1 as we go.
I know
to
Rhea Ripley. I know Becky Lynch. I know
okay.
Rose. I know all those
just watch the women's Elite 8 tonight. And you're good, Fernando. Okay.
It's going on right now. How am I supposed to watch it?
I kind of want to watch actually for the first time in a while. I just.
All right, guys. Before we get in trouble here, let's get on to the
LSU Iowa, man. I gotta watch.
Yeah. Oh, you want trouble? I can bring trouble in
a bit, but keep it going.
All right, here we go. All right, Fernando. Which team not picking in the top 10 of the NFL draft should trade up to the number 4 or number 5 pick for a quarterback? Raiders, Broncos, Vikings, or none?
Raiders. That's simple. It's the Raiders. You have Devontae Adams who's sitting there, and he's kind of like, all right, I said I want this coach, or we said that we wanted this coach here, but what the hell? I was promised Derek Carr. I didn't get Derek Carr. Derek Carr was here for a year, and then he got shipped out. Cool. I got AOC. I don't know which AOC. I mean, AOC is just not that guy, I think, and I think he's kind of like, hey, what the hell? Like, I need a quarterback. I'm on the back end of my career. I need someone here to help me to get me to the playoffs. I want to be in the playoffs. I mean, he was spoiled in Green Bay. They were in the playoffs a lot. They were in some of those games late in the seasons. And here he missed the playoffs. He hasn't really been in it. So they need to get, and not just for him, but for the team in general. You bring in Tom Telesco. You need a quarterback. Regardless of how you feel of Tom, if he was good, if he was not, he always had a quarterback, whether he inherited Phillip Rivers or whether they got Justin Herbert, but they always had a quarterback. Devontae Adams, I'm sure, is getting, and we've already heard a lot of stuff. Devontae's only been there for 2 years, going on to his third. There's been a lot of stuff coming out that maybe this offseason he's going to, if the Raiders don't get a quarterback, he'll want to be traded. We asked Adam Hill, we asked Paul Gutierrez, and one of them said he's staying for sure. The other one said, I don't know. I think if this goes the way that he doesn't want, he may ask for a trade. So I think the Raiders definitely need to get this done. If not, he really is going to start looking elsewhere and being like, you know what? I want to get moved. I don't believe in this project anymore. So even though he's the one that co-signed the head coach, but I definitely think it's the Raiders.
So one more time, is it which team will or which team
No,
should?
which team not picking should jump
Should.
up quarterback.
All right, that's
Should trade up, yes.
Okay, I got to clarify because they can't do it. But should is the Denver Broncos. You have Jarrett Stidham as your quarterback number 1 right now.
Who?
You have to move up. But the whole Russell Wilson dilemma screwed them over for resources. They don't have draft capital. They don't have salary cap. They can't really do much. They're probably hoping and waiting somebody falls to them. But hey, you want to get, Sean Payton, he didn't join the Broncos to like rebuild for 3-4 years. That's kind of what it takes to rebuild this mess that George Patton created there. But so I think Sean Payton's going to get aggressive and say, take every first round pick available from 2025, 26, 27 and move up because it's Jarrett Stidham, Fernando. That is Russell Wilson. That guy just destroyed the Denver Broncos when it comes to draft capital and cap space. So I don't know if they're going to do it because I'm like, should we give away our draft capital because we don't have any right now, maybe for the future? It could really, especially if you get the wrong quarterback and you trade up, but they have Jarrett Stidham. Make a move.
By the way, real quick, Vic, I showed Jeff Miller, our compa, that video of Russell because Jeff is huge into working out. He's like, first thing he's like, is he wearing sunglasses indoors?
Yeah.
And then he's like, unbelievable. I just started laughing. I'm like, yep, it is unbelievable. But go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, I think part of the problem here too, if it's the Raiders and the Broncos, I mean, would the Chargers trade with them? I mean, are you gonna trade with the Broncos or the Raiders? I think
it would depend on if they gave him something like a book. Like that's the thing that would be interesting. Joe Ortiz and Tom Telesco on the phone with each other.
Exactly.
That would be interesting. But I don't think. I think if the Chargers got enough of a haul where they said, okay, this is enough, I'm sure they do business with anybody. It's just, will this be enough to do or not? I mean, look at all the crap that the Bills are getting now from Chiefs fans, and Chiefs fans and Bills fans didn't give a rat's ass about each other back in the late 2000s, and now everybody's kind of giving them crap because they've been rivals. But here it's like an actual rivalry. I think the Chargers would trade if the picks are there and everything's there. I think they would make that trade.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give the point here to Gilbert. He's right. I mean, the Broncos have one quarterback on the roster. They are showing their cards. They're gonna draft a quarterback and they're gonna move up. The Raiders have 2 of them. I think they're probably staying still and drafting somebody and moving back at maybe getting like a Michael Penix or a Bo Nix or a Spencer Rattler later on. It's kind of hard. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see. The one that makes the most sense is the Vikings, just because they have those 2 first-round picks and they can go, but it's just going to be hard, as you guys talked about. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if the Chargers would trade with the Raiders or the Broncos. So it's something to keep an eye on there. All right, 2-1 as we move on here to our combat sports question. You guys were talking about Pitbull Cruz earlier in the show. So let's start off with, would Pitbull Cruz beat Tank Davis in a rematch? He gave Tank his toughest fight a few years ago. And do you guys think it would be a fight that could be on pay-per-view? Like it could sell?
Yeah, easily, for sure. And the other fight was already on pay-per-view because Tank Davis alone is a star and people will pay to watch him fight. And sometimes he doesn't fight. He fights like nobodies. And people thought Pitbull Cruz was a nobody a few years ago. So he became a name after he gave him a toughest fight. We saw that it's not a fluke when he destroyed Rolly Romero. From the beginning, man, he just, he was out of it. So the referee did him a favor when he stopped it in the 7th round. And I think Pitbull Cruz's brand has only gotten bigger since then. So definitely put it on pay-per-view. Put it in Vegas or LA and have a bunch of Mexican fans out there come out. And I think Tank Davis would embrace it because who his mentor is? It's Floyd Mayweather Jr. And when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, it's a sombrero on. So maybe something like that, kind of a throwback. So I definitely want to see the fight, make it happen, and be a fight that maybe he could do later this year in 2024. But I think Tank Davis has somebody else to fight in the summer first.
I think it is a pay-per-view fight. My biggest thing though when it comes to this is gonna be if I think usually the loser finds out more about their style. I mean, this is just in sports, but I don't know if it's the same in combat sports. But I think when you lose, you can go back, watch the film, and say, okay, this is where I messed up. This is what, and the winner is kind of like, well, I already beat that guy. Like, yeah, I'll do my homework, but at the same time, I mean, I already beat them. I know what I need to do to continue and just do the same thing. Sometimes when losers lose, they're going to change their style up. They're going to try something different and mix it in with some of the stuff that they've already that was successful for them. So I actually do think Pitbull Cruz has a chance to beat him. It's just going to be about what are those changes that he needs to make. Does he have to improve his defense? What does he have to do with his offense? I mean, those are going to be the questions he's going to have to ask himself. Whereas Gervonta Davis is kind of one of these guys I feel like that's like, oh, well, my style hasn't failed me yet. I'm just going to keep on going with it. So, yeah, I definitely think he can beat him. It's just going to be an interesting to see what changes Pitbull Cruz decides to make for that next fight.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as there's no catch weight, I think we should expect this fight. Hopefully, we get it on a Mexican Independence Day. I mean, that would be a good tie-in, but we all
They'd have
have
to
to
go
wait.
up with Canelo and probably the
Or that's what
Sphere.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's if Canelo permits it, apparently. So,
Well, and the Sphere fight for UFC, so that might be a little bit dangerous as well because that one might be Sugar Sean O'Malley, and then some other. They're supposedly going to load up the Sphere with a really good fight, so a good card. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
because you guys both went with the same guy, I'm gonna give you guys the point there. So let's get to the last one. See if any of you guys. I'll give Gilbert the win here, but I want to give you here the floor for this
He
one,
knew you
Fernando.
couldn't do this shit
Yeah.
on this
Yes.
next one, so
Yeah.
that's why.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Let's say WWE gave you guys control of a match at WrestleMania. How would each one of you guys script the match? So go ahead, Fernando.
Um. I'll go with Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. Gilbert's like, what? And Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Why? Because the other ones are easy to script. I think that match, I think if they can get Bad Bunny to come back and maybe do a little something, I think that'd be great, especially because this is an LWO kind of fight. This is Latinos on there. It's all Latinos. I think they should do a huge, like, kind of war kind of fight where they call it street rules or do whatever you need to, and maybe throw it back a little bit. Throw it up to our boy. Put a lowrider out there. Have the lowrider used in the match, but I think they should really celebrate this in a unique way to celebrate all the luchadors in the past that have done great work. Because without luchadors, there's not wrestling. There's not great wrestling like that. Like, how many of us would think that Rey Mysterio could beat the Big Show if it wasn't for like WWE and stuff like that? So I think they should throw it back to that and make it a huge match, a huge Latino appreciation kind of match, and do something fun with it. Like maybe Bad Bunny interferes. Maybe you have Carlito and some of these other guys interfere that are in separate factions. But I definitely think they need to celebrate that. Andrade would be really cool. We obviously know he's Charlotte Flair's husband. It'd be cool if he did an appearance or something in this match. But I think this should be more of a Latino appreciation kind of throwback. I think that's the way they should do it, and I think that'd be a fun way to do this. But do stuff that Latinos are known for. Have somebody cheat, lie, and steal. Have somebody do some other stuff to throw it back to like Mil Máscaras or Rey Mysterio Sr., stuff like that. Like, just do fun stuff that'll really throw it back to some of the old school that you've seen in WWE. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do when it comes to this. But yeah, pay some respects to the old luchadores and Latino wrestlers that have come before you. I think that'd be really cool to see something like that.
All right, Fernando, you were trying to criticize my knowledge of wrestling. That is pretty good. I don't know if I could top it, but I already won those shows, so who cares? But me as a writer or producer for WrestleMania, I will have Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. Don't say it's an easy one. Hell in a Cell for sure. You know, some kind of hardcore rules match where anything goes. But a little twist there. Just add in Seth Rollins in the corner for Becky Lynch. Bring in Dominic Mysterio on the corner after your fight that you just created for Rhea Ripley. So Hell in a Cell, these are two of the biggest stars in women's wrestling. Anything goes, and it could be a street fight. Bring out the trash cans, bring out the ladders. I don't care. It's Hell in a Cell, but have Seth Rollins and Dominic Mysterio involved somehow, and maybe they have a little skirmish themselves. How about that?
Hey, I like the creativity, man. I was kind of surprised there. So, but congratulations, Gilbert. You take this one today. Great job answering the questions to both of you guys. But this was awesome. This was a really good rapid fire.
Are you gonna say anything, Gilbert? Well, you're the one that won.
Oh, I forget that we have time here. I am just dreading that somebody is going to come on, but I'm glad that we made them wait an hour and 9 minutes. So let's get to it.
Well, we'll see. Vic, thank you so much. We'll see if that individual comes on. We never know with him, but what all right, let's see. Is Dan and Daygo here? Let's try it out. Let's see if it actually happens.
Howard.
Whoops. There he is. There's Dan and Daygo.
I was about to say it was the ultimate. You remember it was like the old WWE days where they would play the music and someone else would come out. That's why that's what that reminded me of right there. But you know what? I'm glad I'm finally on this program. I'm ready. I'm fired up. So let's get it going, dude. Business is about to pick up, as JR used to say, I think. And I just want to say, for now, I thought it was hilarious. Like, let's do a throwback to what Latinos do: lie, cheat, and steal. So I thought that was hilarious.
I said wrestlers.
I know. Everyone relax. That's a joke. It's
Dan,
okay. Eddie Guerrero used to do that stuff.
Wasn't there something you wanted to tell Gilbert?
Yeah, I do wanted to talk about something right now.
Okay.
You know, it was very interesting, Frau. In case you're wondering, why you lost this week, it's because Vic's in the inner circle with Gilberto and we're not. That's why. Because this weekend, I don't know. I saw some things happening where I was like, oh, all right. There's apparently, Frau, we're not on that cool kids list right there. Like, it's to go hang out and celebrate Gilberto's birthday in some, villa out in Palm Springs or whatever it is. Like,
okay.
We're not cool. We can't play poker.
How would you have celebrated him?
There's a criteria to make it. One, you have to know me for 10 years. You're getting closer to that. And then
criteria.
You have to have a partner. I'm not saying like a lawyer, like an actual person that you fall in love with. Can you do that? Those two things. Keep being my friend, and then find yourself a nice young lady to.
Really? Everyone there is a couple? Are you for real?
Everybody was a couple, Dan. So can you find somebody and get on Hinge?
Frau and I are a partnership, so we're the same thing, dude. Don't you worry. If
you wear a wig next year, then I will definitely allow it.
Why would
You have to be the woman.
He wants me to be freaking Mrs. Doubtfire up in this mother, dude. You hear this?
Hey, if you do that, I'll gladly. Hey, make a cake too while you're at it. Burn the kitchen.
You have some weirdo dreams over there.
So you celebrated yesterday, Dan?
Oh, yeah. Well, celebrated yesterday. Yeah, I couldn't believe the fact that this stooge, this scumbag, over here just leaving the Compas off the list. But I guess that's cool, dude. No worries. Lucky for me, my feelings regenerate 2 times that of a regular human being. So I am okay.
Maybe next year you will meet the criteria. I will actually skip the whole 10-year thing. How long have I known you now? Like
I don't need pity votes. I don't need pity invites. I don't need them.
Hall of
I'm
Fame.
good.
You got to meet the criteria. But Dan, why can't you focus on the positive? I gave you your own segment. You are on the big screen of my show. Like, just be thankful about that. Like, come on.
The biggest screen of his show.
The moles in the back looks extra clear now. I like it.
I'm trying to, you know what? Well, I'll get into that later, actually. But you know what? I'm trying to look on here, Frau, on my screen. Where does it say Gilberto on the beat? I don't see it. Do you? That's kind of crazy that he keeps calling it his show.
Get rid of the S and just comp on the beat. And
that's kind of wild to me right there. Oh yeah, here we go. Who is this? No way. Is this the Shadur video? There he is. S for Shadur. Who's he even throwing to?
Didn't he get a Cybertruck today? I saw for $100.
Oh, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I don't even know who he's throwing to.
So right there, he's throwing with Dak Prescott, and ever since
Prescott, yeah, good job, guys.
Are you serious?
Way to set the standard high. Unbelievable, dude.
Hold on. Ever since that happened, now everybody has been coming out saying, well, Shador should replace Dak Prescott next year on the Cowboys, and that the Cowboys should draft him.
Bro, I honestly like short of this man winning a Heisman, or well, not even the Heisman. Heisman doesn't mean anything. Short of him winning a natty, I don't even think he goes in the first round, honestly. Like, what are we doing here? This new age of social media is the most idiotic. What is he doing?
That's an ugly ass car, man. I've been seeing.
Yeah, I think it's
like
weird.
3 or 4.
I think it's so weird, dude. Is he rapping or what is he doing? He's just dancing over here.
Dancing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
All right. How about this, Dan? Because it is your segment. Let me have some conversation here. Would you rather have Shedeur Sanders with everything he does with the, styling and profiling?
Don't tell me Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and going to the fashion show. Caleb does not do all the flaunting of the money and going to fashion shows.
You're asking the wrong question. This is the real question. Dan, who would you rather have? The kid from Duke, the basketball player McCain, or Dak Prescott?
None of them. I would shut down the franchise at that point. I would rather go 0-17 instead of taking one of those players, dude. I'm good. I don't want it at all. But no,
who would you take, Shedeur or Dak or Shedeur or Caleb?
I don't know, dude. I think because this is the only reason I would lean a little bit more. But I mean, it's hard to say because the only reason I would lean more Caleb is because I think people need to understand you draft Shedeur, and you're getting Dion also. Like, I don't think people really understand that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, don't forget about Shiloh. Don't forget about Shiloh now. But
yeah, don't forget.
Shedeur and Hunter are going to be in first. Don't forget about Shiloh. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised, seriously, just with the amount of connections Dion has in the league and everything, just with the profile that Dion has and everything else. I wouldn't doubt if he, was very one of these hands-on parents with the organization or whatever else, like especially with the coaches, the fact, I was talking for Al this the other day, the fact that he's coached him from, Pop Warner essentially to now college, how is Shedeur going to act when Pops isn't the coach, dude? That's a big question also.
We were talking about this.
He's not going to
what's his name doesn't have a contract after this year, Mike McCarthy. So what is he going to do? Jerry's going to get on the phone. He's going to be like, Dion,
are you crazy?
Sign again.
Are you crazy?
And then they get the number 1 pick.
You know why that's not going to work?
Number 1 overall.
Frow's ready for WWE talent, dude. He's ready to go. He's ready to draw these things up. That would not work at all because number 1, Jerry Jones's biggest, mark against them is that he can't handle when the attention's not on him. Do you imagine if Deion Sanders, if Coach Prime was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, they wouldn't even know who owned the team at that point. It would all be about Deion Sanders and I guess at that point, Shedeur. Yeah. Hey, he'll get.
And they would have to sign Shiloh as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, right. His daddy would take him in the second to make sure he was drafted. Get out of here, dude.
We might be the only podcast really talking about the 2025 NFL draft right now.
The Cowboys can go 2 for 1. They can go get Shedeur and Travis Hunter. And then in the second, they go get Shiloh.
Dreaming. Living on a prayer. That's what these people do.
Okay, if you're the Cowboys, who would you rather have, Dion as the head coach or Shedeur as the quarterback?
You get one and the other. I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm good with all that. But
wait, Dan, were you watching college basketball over the weekend? Are you struggling for sports?
No,
you mentioned Duke right now. I'm like, what the hell are you watching?
Yeah, that's social media crap. No, I don't watch any of this garbage. This is what I call downtime for Dan and Daygo because the international. Oh, actually, no, I did watch sports. I watched a beautiful game. Saw Arsenal, Liverpool. Saw United. You're such a hater.
Arsenal versus Man City.
Oh, my bad. Arsenal, Man City.
It doesn't matter.
Not bad.
You're garbage, dude. That's a beautiful sport. But anyway, no, actually, I'm excited for WrestleMania. That's why I wanted to come on and talk about.
Okay.
Which, by the way, did you see CM Punk on the MMA Hour?
I watched part of it, but Fernando also gave me some info right now.
Oh, dude, like there was some good stuff happening on there. But this is what I wanted to talk about real quick. Besides, which one?
Ramones.
I don't even know what that is. Is that a band?
Bro.
Pro wrestling is just anybody with a Twitter calls themselves a reporter or a journalist or whatever. And I experienced it firsthand.
CM Punk is not just in.
I was about to say it's not just wrestling. Yeah,
it's in everything.
But I was going to tell you, like, this was my biggest thing.
Yes, Gilbert, I had to take my shot.
Helwani had Becky Lynch. Shout out to her. She's awesome. on the show last week, and she was saying some stuff how it got too personal with, not Rhea, with mommy talking about
Mom, Daniel wants you on the show.
Oh, shut up, idiot. With her talking about her daughter and everything else, right? But this has always been my biggest thing about wrestling. Like, when it's real, that is where it's the best segment you will ever have. Like, again, I'll still continue to say John Cena has eclipsed The Rock more in his absence than when he was there full time. Like, it's insane really to see the stark contrast, because John Cena was very good at making things real without, I guess, stepping over the line, depending on who you ask. Because everybody forgets, the wristband thing, or the notes on the promo on his wrist, one of the best killer lines that I've ever seen since I've been watching wrestling. Him telling
I gotta
Roman
say, Dan,
Reigns,
I gotta cut you off because you're kind of
okay.
a little,
Here
you're a
we
little
go.
frauded.
Here we
You're a little
go.
fraudish right
You
now.
saw this right there?
I'm gonna call you. I know it's your 10 minutes here, and it's probably way past that. Who the hell knows? Who cares?
No, we only talked a little bit about Shador.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm tired of you guys talking about Shador Sanders. It's not 2025, okay? It's 2024. Anyways,
slow weekend.
When I first met you, Dan, when we were talking about our friendship here, how many years it's been? Maybe 4. I forget, 5 maybe. You were
right before the pandemic, no?
Constantly, in the car when we were going to SoFi Stadium on Sundays, just harassing your older brother about how John Cena sucks. Now you're like, John Cena was the greatest thing ever created in WWE. So what turn?
I know.
Gotta call you out a little bit. Gotta call you out a little bit.
That's okay. That doesn't bother me. I'm not one of these morons who's in an echo chamber. That's okay, dude. Ready? Here we go. I'm gonna bring it to you. 2 things can be right at the same time, right? Oh. I think John Cena was overhyped and pushed a little too much. I got annoyed with him a lot. I think he recycled a lot of things just like The Rock and everybody else. But at the same time, right, I still give him a lot of credit because he knew how to cut better promos than The Rock. He knew how to really heat things up. Even when he comes back, his wrestling is still solid. He's still in shape and everything else. The Rock isn't, And
that's one thing that I'm really interested about when it comes to Saturday.
Why do you think it's a tag team? Like I said, I think Cena is better on the mic than The Rock is. Like, look, The Rock to me now is just unhinged. Him yelling at some producer because he said cut and all this other stuff.
I got an email in my inbox this morning that the ratings are off the roof for SmackDown and Raw, and I'm just saying somebody came back
again.
Mama Rose,
because people will cheer for anything.
The Rock has something against Cody.
I don't know what it is.
Keeps on going at it about that.
I don't know what it is, but I still think I will still hold my ground on that. John Cena was better. Not right.
I'll bet you guys $5 she slaps The Rock in the face on either Saturday or Sunday. Oh yeah.
I don't even think she'll be there. She probably won't be there.
She was there last year.
Oh really? Oh
yeah.
But that's
either her or Brandy. One of them is smacking The Rock in the face.
Oof.
They probably will. Damn, but whenever John Cena
and then The Rock's daughter can come out and Brandy and her get into it.
No one cares about The Rock's daughter. No one cares.
She's like the GM for NXT, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. But she's gotten
again. It's the year of the Nepo baby. I can't count how many these damn Nepos are all over the place, dude.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I'm like, what the hell is she doing being the GM? But whatever.
Going back to what were you gonna say about The Rock?
She had to shut down her Twitter because all these people were coming at her.
The Nepo, it's real. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, what were you gonna say about The Rock? Like, that's just my thing. I understand that he's a draw. I understand he's a draw, but in my mind, we're trying to hang on to something that's not there anymore. It was just like when they bring out The Undertaker, when I was like, bro, come on, like, let this guy ride off into the sunset for the love of God. Like, he was out there in my mind, 5 years too much after, I can't remember which WrestleMania it was, but I was like, the 2 things that I'll never forget.
Bray Wyatt one was the one that you thought that remember, everybody thought he was going to retire after the Brock after he lost. He came out against Bray Wyatt. It was a little shaky, and then after that, it was kind of shaky until he had that hip surgery. That really was able to fix him and give him one last run with them. Yeah,
the 2 things I'll never forgive WWE for. Number 1, breaking the streak. I was never a fan of that. That should have stood the test of time. Number 2,
he actually wanted Bray Wyatt to be the one that broke it.
No one should have broken it. Number 2, the thing that they really should have done once in a lifetime was Rock Cena, and I think Cena should have won that one. So to do it twice back to back, and then now it's a title, like I hate all the grab assery and the hand holding.
There it is. It hadn't been there in a while.
We're like, now we're friends, and let me lift his arm up and let me give him a moment, and Cena and The Rock, they're friends now. Like, that's all garbage to me. Like,
all right. We got to move on, but real quick, everything going okay with the job? See, I care about you.
Oh yeah, it's spring break, so I mean, I got some stuff I got going on. I'm watching some film on the players that are coming back and everything else, so I'm working on that. Obviously, trying to get some stuff cut and everything else, try and post on the page. Like, because like I said, I try and do all that stuff now because obviously in season, I'm a ghost, dude. You're lucky I even get in to sit down and record and then get out of here, dude. Because
I get a little antsy during the season. Like, when is he going to start cutting promos?
I know,
shorts again. But
because again, in season, like, it's just a different beast. You're like, and like I said, could I probably do it? Yeah, but I'd probably end up burning myself at both candles, and I'm gonna end up having a stroke at some point. So,
oh God, not today, Zerg. Before we bring Vic back in, Dan, who is the quarterback of Colorado?
Shadur Sanders, Coach Prime.
If you want 2025 NFL draft coverage, come to Compas on the Beat.
Hey,
exactly.
Can you imagine? I'd be like, you know what? Gilbert and I will bow out. This will be a one-on-one between Dan and Daygo and Shadur Sanders.
Yeah, we'll get him on the show. We got a year to do it.
I can't stand the draft stuff. Like, to me, I'm just like, what are we talking about this for, dude? Like, can we just get?
You know what? August? Next year we will go to Colorado. We'll let you go. We'll give you. We'll
to the pro day.
Go to Colorado. You can go to the pro day. And you tell us what you saw from that pro.
Let me tell you. I saw Shadur throwing the ball all over the place. I'll be like one of these stooges, little wobbly, throwing outside the numbers, outside the hashes. I'll just start using random terms.
Hey, I want to see that next year, actually.
Tuesday. Oh yeah, could you imagine? Hey, I'll go up there to Colorado for a few days if you can get me in there. I'd be like, hey, Coach Prime. I would want to ask him, where do you think he will go specifically? Don't tell me first round. Don't tell me top 5. Tell me where you think he's going to go.
Where do you want him to play? That's the question.
I forgot.
Where do you want him to play?
That's my other thing. Like, they don't understand really how hard they're hurting their draft stock right now. Talking about doing an Eli situation and all this other stuff. Like, but it's not going to help, dude.
Have you guys heard the teams he's mentioned that he wants them to go?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so let's see if you guys can figure out why he said these teams. He said the Falcons, the Cowboys, the 49ers.
Oh, he played for all of them.
Played for all of them.
Yes, yeah, Washington and Baltimore.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Did he
I wonder.
Say all those?
Yeah,
I wonder what's going to happen if he's a backup somewhere.
Hey,
that's what I'm really.
That sounds like some damage control. He knew he kind of has some people worried about picking the team. It's like, oh, I was just messing around. The teams that I play for because I'm biased. That's it.
Yeah,
there you go. Kirk Cousins will suck, and they'll be like, you know what? We need a savior. They're gonna get Shadur.
Oh my God.
They'll give him 21 and it'll say Sanders on it. The first quarterback to wear the number 20 20 or higher. All right, let's move on. We're gonna do something different here with Burial of the Week. Well, first, hit the music.
Música, maestro.
Look at that, bring in some Espanol. What a classy guy. He's French with our boy Moy.
I do it all, dude. I do it all.
But we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to let Gilbert choose this week his burial, and we'll kind of discuss it so that we don't go completely over. But Gilbert, give us your burial of the week.
Yeah, I haven't been too annoyed, but then I remember something when we were talking. That's why I didn't give a specific burial of the week, but I got one on the spot, and I don't know what the hell is going on with X or Twitter. I'm not using it as much nowadays, but now I really know why I'm done with X. And, I have the notifications on. Now they're giving me notifications about things they think I might care about. First, it was like, hey,
I hate that too. Yeah.
Notifications on about like people who I follow or whatever, people that I have on alerts. But now they're giving me crap that I never asked for. In the last week, guys, I'm not kidding. I got alerts about breaking news. Justin Jefferson was traded to the Chicago Bears for the number 1 pick. And then 2 days ago, maybe yesterday, I got an alert saying breaking news. The Chargers have traded Justin Herbert. So why the hell am I getting alerts about this? And I knew right away this is all fake and not real because X. I'm like, yeah, they're going to trade Justin Jefferson for the number 1 pick. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And same thing with Justin Herbert. So Dan, I guess, how do you feel about those rumors and what the hell's going on with X? I'm done with that crap.
Dude, I told Frown yesterday, I was like, I felt like Sunday, I felt like going on my Dan and Daygo Twitter and just doing all this breaking news crap and seeing which one got fired. Because that's one thing I do agree with you. Like, don't suggest me things I've never asked for. That does bug me. But it's like, I also hate the stupid April Fools. Like, let me just tweet out the most random crap I can think of
Could be that.
and see which one catches fire. Like that's my biggest problem because like I agree. X is solid for me in the coaching world because, you know, there's a lot of clips of drills. There's a lot of opportunity. Like coaches will just put, hey, I need X and X coach. DM me if interested and stuff like that. So it helps me out in that sense. But, you know, I still love Twitter because you find some wild things on there. But I totally agree with you. Like,
mine is started with just draft and WWE. Like, really, there's nothing.
Them promoting.
I mean, you see some OnlyFans women out there and stuff, but other than that, there's not really anything
one of them
else.
is a Charger fan. Shout out, dude. What'd I say? I didn't say anything.
Follow the account, huh?
No, well.
All right. Let's
the
move
only
on.
thing I was interested in from X recently was you know, I saw something that supposedly, allegedly, Patrick Mahomes was in the other car. I don't know. We're gonna find out. I'm just kidding. That is a joke.
That could be a barrier too. Like, can NFL players stop street racing on the freeway or anywhere, please?
Did you see what his lawyer tweeted out? Like,
I didn't see that. What did he say?
Okay, so he puts, he hopes everybody in the car. I thought it was an April Fool's joke. He hopes everybody that was involved is okay. What?
Hey. It's just like OJ not wanting to go to LA to not run into the killer. All right, allegedly.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, and they even did I saw somebody on another group chat send a cover of Need for Speed, and it was all the
the NFL players.
Jeez.
I mean,
the memes on there are fire. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons to kind of keep Twitter. And I mean, a lot of the questions that I do for rapid fire, I find on there. So I'm with, like, I
make sure they're not fake news, okay? Please.
Yeah, exactly.
No misinformation.
The problem with taking away the blue check marks. Now you
that is.
And I mean, some people didn't have it before. I get it, but like with some of this stuff, like, you know how to weed out.
People are paying for that blue check.
Who are real journalists, who are real athletes, who are real everything, and not just weenies that have Twitter accounts. I think they're
random weirdos,
and stuff like that. So yeah, I completely, because there's a lot. Let me tell you, that's been my one bone when it comes to working in this industry, is that there's a lot of people out there who think that they do what we do. But
Frown, I have a voice and a platform. I can scream it from the top, from my dungeon with my phone.
I have a question for you guys. Are you guys one of those that, like, get upset, or when you see whether you're a fan of a team, but you'll see this, like, let's say Ian Rappaport or Adam Shelter, they start tweeting about other things, and they're like, hey, I only follow you because I want should a reporter only stick to the sport they cover and not talk about it and have their other account, or should they be able to talk about other things?
I don't know, but
I don't think it matters
for that. I was gonna say Rap Sheet's always doing the go Mets go, or Schefter's doing the Michigan stuff. Like, I really don't care. They're people, but I know a lot of football fans that does bug them. The one thing I do like to see is, like, whenever they tweet out like breaking news of players who, like, nobody really knows about, I like to go into the comments and people say, "Who? What are you talking about? We don't want to hear this." Like, that's always
it's the Snoop Dogg. Who?
Yeah.
I understand. Like, I hate when they get into any. Yeah, I kind of do. I can't stand it sometimes, just because I'm like, I mean, it is their own personal Twitter account and everything, but at the same time, I mean, you're tweeting about stuff that you probably have, like, no clue of what you're doing, and then sometimes, like, Ian and Adam try and be funny, and they come off as dorks. So, and there's other people that do it, but I don't tweet out about anything that I don't know or I'm not at. Like, I won't sit there and be like, oh my God, Caitlin Clark is going off. No, because I'm not there. Like, why am I going to?
By the way.
Dan.
Iowa.
But never mind. I would just be like, I'm not there. So that's one thing I do not like doing. I don't like tweeting out if I'm not at the location. Like, yeah, like sometimes I will do like the combat sports stuff, but other than that, like I really try and limit like, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers went off today against the Baltimore Ravens. It's like, well, I wasn't there. Like, why am I going to comment on that? So that, I guess that's just me though. I don't like doing that kind of stuff, but I see a lot of journalists like do that kind of stuff where they're tweeting out about other stuff where they're not at or anything like that. But again, that's just me. I don't like doing that. I barely use social media anyway, so I'm not really big on all that. But I just think that sometimes you can piss off your regular Joes because you're tweeting out about stuff. Like I know some Charger fans get mad that I tweet out sometimes. Like last year when Gilbert and I were at WrestleMania, I tweeted out a couple of times like, oh wow, what a good match by so-and-so or this or that. And some of them get pissed off because of it, because I lost like a couple of followers. But I mean, it is what it is. It's your own private account. Like again, I said, for me, I don't like doing it unless I'm there, but I understand I understand why some people like it, why some people don't. Gilbert, go ahead.
No, and I was gonna say it, and it makes sense because if you're there, you're talking about it. Like I don't see you talking about like what happened on Raw or what happened on SmackDown, or even talking about soccer. Like even
I'll do it on here. Yeah. I'll do it on here, but I'm not gonna do it like when it comes to Twitter, just because I always think people are gonna be like, who gives a shit what you think? And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Why should if other people aren't gonna why should I give a shit? So yeah, I just try and like kind of chill out when it comes to that kind of stuff, especially because I know, and this is another thing too. I know people have me on notifications, like they're gonna be like,
that's what I was gonna say. That's the biggest problem, because since I don't have them on notifications, I don't care really about any of them tweeting out about anything. It's their own private account.
He got pissed at me last season when he would be at home watching the game. He'd be like, hey asshole, you just gave away that they threw a pick, or
I'm streaming here and like, what the hell, man? I got anybody who's like, I have them on alerts and they're at a game, like, I hate it because you guys are ahead.
I wonder who has more alerts, Gilbert or me. I think Gilbert has more alerts than I do.
No, in terms of like Twitter or
yeah. Twitter.
For all apps, I have a good amount, but Twitter not really.
No. I'm talking about notifications when it comes to journalists or like people that you have alerts for on Twitter.
I have all the NFL insiders, and then I have like Chargers people and Rams, and that's about it.
Okay, yeah. See, you have more than I do. I probably have 3 or 4 national, and then 2 or 3 beat reporters, and other than that, like I have it limited.
Well, it's like I don't even like how the way Twitter is nowadays, where like they try to offer you stuff that you don't care about. So the alerts help me have it organized. So anytime I got to catch up on what I missed on the day, I go through all the people that have on alerts. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm done for the day. That's the only good thing about X, I feel like. But honestly, like on Twitter, it's always like I maybe just tweet about boxing because that's like I'm like, oh crap, but it's like, what do I put? What a great fight. Who gives a crap about that? That's not real analysis. So if I'm giving you real analysis, then I start writing like a paragraph or two. Why the hell I'm going to give away a free story on Twitter? Come to Compas and be on YouTube. I'll let you know, or maybe write a story about it. See,
Gilbert, real quick, all good things. Hey guys, just wondering what you think about the Rams maybe looking to draft Chop Robinson. I'm a bit skeptical because he has great. He's been great against weaker teams, but struggles against real
dude.
The Marshawn Lynch and real quick, all good things. He actually might have given me an idea, and I'll let Victor know about this because it is draft season, and maybe we can go through the edge rushers this week and check out on Wednesday House of Horns. We're going to talk about the Rams draft. So honestly, like this is time of year where people like you shouldn't just follow what people are saying as the draft experts or the mock draft. So Chop Robinson doesn't come up. It's like Dallas Turner and Leatu Latu from UCLA and Jared Verse from Florida State. So it's kind of like who do you believe, these draft experts or the teams who are actually doing the actual scouting? And I don't really see Chop Robinson come up on these mock drafts. That shouldn't be the end all be all. It could be a second round pick, third round pick, whatever. But I did do some research when I saw the question come up. All good things, Marshawn Lynch. And Lance Sirline from the NFL Network compared him to Michael Parsons. So that's some high praise right there. I don't know.
Is it though?
He went to Penn State though, so maybe it's like an easy comparison.
Yeah, that's what they say about Michael Parsons too. That he's great against weaker teams, and then when it comes to good teams, he doesn't really show up.
Actually,
you know what was my favorite comparison? Jerry Tillery to Aaron Donald, because let me tell you something.
Was that a real one?
Any of that
It was.
No way.
I remember.
Somebody? Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody-
it was on
somebody
draft
compared him.
night. You know how they
That's-
do the player comparison?
Yeah,
So, like,
NFL
no.
he was kind of, I can't remember if he said he was kind of smaller, just like Aaron Donald and blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah,
That's
I'm not.
Fernando,
I'm not buying
that
for a
is why
second.
you created weirdo time. What the heck?
Exactly. Vic, you were gonna say
Yeah.
something before.
No,
we
I
move
was
on?
just gonna say, check out the newsletter because we will be talking about, some of the guys that the Rams, the Raiders, and the Chargers should go and check out, or who they might draft, or what they should do with their draft first round picks. Also, check out House of Horns. We're actually gonna talk about this on Wednesday. I know we haven't been around for the last couple of weeks, but we will have a show on Wednesday. We'll be talking about what do the Rams do? I mean, what if Brock Bowers is there? Will Sean McVay try to take a tight end? Well, they go for best available, a guy like Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy, but we'll talk about that on Wednesday. But all good things. We look forward to seeing you there, and we'll answer your question on there as well.
Maybe the pictures because he's a Rams fan and Marshawn got in trouble as a Seahawks. I don't know, former Seahawks player.
No,
and
I
it's
thought he
like,
got in trouble as a Raider.
oh yeah, you're right. No, maybe he was retired and he was drinking a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
but
that's
maybe
what
the
happened.
rivalry is still there between Seahawks and Rams, and that's why he does
Yeah.
a picture. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really like doing all that mock, like who's gonna go where here. I'll talk about scenarios and all of that, but I don't.
That's
like
where the
doing those
WWE
predictions.
sides comes out of frown.
But
You
I
can
don't
see
like
that
doing
right
the
there.
prediction stuff because I think it's dumb. Like,
Well, yeah.
obviously, like we don't know the way everything's gonna play out when it comes to the. That's the one thing that Tom Telesco really freaking
Shout out.
instilled in my brain, where he's like, it's the way the board dictates, it's the way everything moves around, and that's why I've never liked doing that kind
It's
of stuff.
because you're
Like,
playing roulette. You don't know where
well,
the dial's gonna land.
you never
on.
know who's gonna jump up. You never know who's gonna do any of that stuff. And
Anytime
then,
anytime I do a mock draft, I'm lucky if I get 3 or 4 right. So yeah, I get. What you're
no,
saying.
there was one year where there was one year where we did this. I think it's before Vic came, but you did one for the OC Register, and you actually hit on quite a. I thought you hit on at least 10.
Then it might have been no way. That's too high. Maybe 8, and I'll definitely will take that as a victory lap. But I'm always happy
8
if
to
I get
10.
4.
You hit on 8 to 10, something like that.
Well, it's hard because, like you mentioned, the trades and people moving around. And
But that's why I don't like. I don't like playing around like that.
You know what I did? I do count if the player falls to that team, and I don't care what order in the draft.
That's why I can't do OnlyFans. I ain't with the girl, so why the hell am I gonna pay for all that stuff? Like, no. I need to know exactly what scenario I'm in. So yeah,
I was
I'm
gonna.
just not
Speaking of
for it,
getting things
so-
right. Speaking of getting
Don't
things
take
right,
that.
Hilberto, who did you have in the zoo fight and the Rolly?
Oh
fight?
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
Wow.
I was gonna ask you about that during your 10 minutes, and I'm like, hey, I think your brother's part of the curse too, because he's interviewing the same people
Look at
like
that.
I am.
You
But
see how he
you're right.
tries to. You see how
You're
he tries
right.
to shift
I
off
did
the
pick
plane?
I did pick Tim Zoo and Rolly Romero. The Rolly Romero one, I'm kind of mad at myself, but Pitbull looked like a pug, and he went up in weight class. I was a little worried about him, and he was actually he was a favorite by quite an amount too. So I'll take the L on that one. And yeah,
Here's another
two
one.
people we interviewed
Get it
lost.
cooking. Yeah.
All right.
But
Well,
hold
we'll
on,
talk
real
about
quick.
WrestleMania this week, so you'll be able to, Dan,
Okay.
you'll be able to see what Gilbert's predictions are. Because I did that to him last year too. He didn't know half of the
can't
matches,
wait.
but I'm like, Gilbert, this, that,
I
and he's like,
can't
bro,
wait.
and he answered. So
I do well.
I
with
wanted to ask.
WrestleMania.
I wanted to
Oh,
ask
yeah.
you one thing real quick though. Should I saw this during the fight that I was trying to pick up. Should they have stopped the zoo fight because of how much blood he lost?
But then, well, at that point, like, are you going to?
that's the one criticism I had about the fight. The announcers, the sideline reporter, I couldn't stand. They should stop this. I'm like, get that. If they didn't stop,
I don't know.
I wanted to do a story
Ivan
about
Drago
like
from killing
even
Apollo Creed.
Stitch.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna
Stitch
stop
said.
this.
Yeah, I think Stitch even put somewhere that he's like they should have stopped the fight. He's losing a lot of blood. You could tell they couldn't control the
cut.
wound the whole time. And it's
Shawn
like, just think
Michaels
about it, like,
fought in the elimination chamber, losing a lot of blood. He continued.
okay, that's a different. Same with your hero, John Cena.
Exactly.
oh yeah,
He
that's
even
the Dan I like right
Edge
there.
cashed in the Money in the Bank on him.
You're
later
such a
after
wimp,
that.
Frau. You need better heroes. All your heroes suck. But
You have a good one?
oh, I have the best one. What are you talking about? But I was gonna tell you that was my only thing because
Gilbert, you're his
you
hero.
know,
You're his
it's
Enrique Iglesias.
oh my God, no. I was gonna say my only thing was that like he's losing a lot of blood, and obviously that's gonna affect performance, whether you want to admit it or not. And on top of that, you know,
Yeah.
it's almost like you're fighting blind because the blood was in his face at all times. Like he would throw a punch, try and clear it, and it's like, we want to talk about player safety. Like that guy's a dog for continuing the fight, but I would have totally
Rocky
understood if they
Balboa
stopped the
let
fight.
Mickey cut his eye and he continued the fight. So
First
there you
off, that's
go.
made up land, but
No,
I
it's
just
not.
hope I
Hey,
just hope they
supposedly
run
Sylvester
it back.
Stallone will be there this weekend, so I'm interested to see how they're going to use
good.
him.
Good.
I don't know, Dan. Like I know it was an elbow and that's not a real punch, but like let them fight, and it was a good fight overall. It's always like a stale taste when they fight because they stopped the fight because of the cut there. Hey, and then also Fundura's doing the right thing. He's gonna give him a rematch. He already said it. So
good.
Do it again. Nothing wrong with having a rival in boxing. Sometimes you lose and you get a rematch. Why not?
Yeah. The only thing I hated was after the way they took a picture together, all smiling with the 2 belts or whatever and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's kind of soft. Like you have such a gritty performance going through the blood, and then you just want to be soft and everybody's friends now. Like I'm good, dude. I miss the old days of Tyson when he was on the stage screaming what he was screaming at people, like just trying to sell a fight. That was hilarious.
Hey, we could end it here if you want, but like I told you guys on the group text, somebody was giving me a shout out about my camera work for the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney shoving match there, and it's okay. I'm not afraid of people shoving each other, but if that was Mike Tyson in the 1990s, bro, I've watched these YouTube videos about people shooting up the casino floor when Mike Tyson and the posse came through. I'm running for my life. So
really?
That was a different day in the 90s, bro. Like when all the rappers like Tupac would show up and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Snoop Dogg and walking through the MGM casino floor. I even heard stories from the old timers when I used to cover boxing in Las Vegas. They're like, yeah, get away whenever Mike Tyson was walking around because
what about now? With him and Jake Paul, do you think
he's a nice guy now? And but I don't want to see that fight anyways. But
real quick before let's just do real quick. So Dan and I actually watched Ricky Stanicki over the weekend.
Oh, you didn't listen to
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
No,
we were laughing our asses off.
Yeah.
We
liked
it. Actually pretty
really
funny. It's crude, but I mean, I like those kind. Like I like American Pie. I like all that stuff. It's just a stupid movie that you can laugh at, and they're gonna say crude things. And John Cena, I thought was hilarious in his.
John Cena is a better actor than The Rock.
But
100%. But can I add to it? Look, I stopped watching the movie because of the other characters. John Cena.
What?
John Cena. No, John Cena is what he's doing right now. I love the fact that he's taking so many chances. And honestly, he was the best thing about this movie. The problem I had was with the rest of the cast. Like they had no purpose. Like the black character was like, what are we doing with this character? Like he's a gay character, and he smokes weed, and there's nothing there for it.
He doesn't work.
Exactly. Like they had no purpose.
His disabled boyfriend wanted to break up with him.
Yeah. Like, and then the other two is like, like the storyline with those. But with John Cena, I just want to give John Cena his flowers right now, just because of that. Because like what he did with that character, like every scene he's in, he's awesome. And like, I mean, like the whole thing about him, the songs he sings are
that was hilarious.
We watched the movie with my mom. Mom's like, these songs are now all ruined for me.
Wow.
But yeah, like the redhead was the only one that I thought was actually pretty good. I thought the wife journalist wasn't good at all. Zac Efron was a little hit and miss. Like
I don't know what's going on with his face too.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what is going on with your
now.
face?
Yeah.
He's been touched up.
Yeah.
But the only one I'm gonna give, and Dan will probably give it too, is the redhead guy. I actually thought he was pretty funny.
I love that guy.
And with some of the stuff, but
Andrew Santino.
I thought the boss was actually pretty funny as well. I just can't remember.
Yeah, those were the two characters. Yeah,
John
Cena
but
and the boss.
I just I understand why you kind of stopped watching, but I just thought Cena made it so funny. And then he was like, "No, I'm not Bob. I'm Ricky." Like, and
I'm not Rod. I'm Ricky.
I'm not Rod.
When he pulls out the ID, that's when I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, no, I thought Cena was great. Gilbert, honestly,
All
just
right.
for John Cena, you need to watch that movie. Like, again, it is crude, it is like out there, but it is like
I've seen it on the Prime there, and Victor told me to stay away. So I guess I gotta...
by the way, did you see Roadhouse was the most watched ever?
See, that to me was all right. It was whatever's. It was entertaining.
They say that the original was good, but we haven't watched the original.
Yeah.
I've
so-
never seen the original. I saw on Prime.
My
It's
mom
number,
didn't
it's
like
number
the
5
original.
right now.
My mom said she didn't like the original, so I don't know.
I do kind of want to see it though. Just
I
to
was
kinda
gonna tell
compare.
you.
Crazy, I think. And what's his name was in it too, right? God, he
I
was a
don't
WWE wrestler.
Hulk Hogan.
No, the other guy.
Oh, the mayor. What's his name?
Oh, Jesse the Body Ventura.
No.
Macho Man.
Huh?
Macho Man.
No. It was
Tom Cruise.
Bret Hart.
Terry Funk. I think it was Terry. I think
Oh.
Terry Funk was in the original
I'm
Roadhouse.
just naming people. Shawn Michaels.
I
No,
know.
What?
What?
No, that was
Yeah,
before
yeah.
Stone
his
Cold
time.
Steve Austin.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. There you go. Terry Funk was in the original. You know who was in it, Dan? Sam Elliott.
Yeah, Sam Elliott.
wow.
Yeah, young Sam Elliott. Like he had like
Yeah.
the nice hair. Yeah.
Sam Elliott.
I love that guy.
The Sam Elliott, Steve Martin, and that one black dude that's all over Twitter right now that everybody's like, dude, at 78 years old, he looks incredible. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
Those
the guy from
three guys-
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, those three guys
yeah,
have
that
always
guy,
looked old to me, but like
Yeah.
young old. Like they've always
Yeah.
looked the same. Oh, what's the name too? Man of the House.
Oh, Tommy Lee
Tommy
Jones.
Lee Jones.
Yeah,
He's always
yeah,
looked the
yeah.
same too. Those guys have always looked the same to me,
Yeah.
even though they haven't aged. They just look the same. But all right, good one, Gilbert. Any show you want to plug real quick that you watched?
Not yet, but I'll think about it and check out the newsletter on Compas
All right.
Ahorita.
I got one.
Put in your email on the gold
Gilbert.
box.
Oh,
Shogun.
Put it in the newsletter. Recommend it.
All right, there you go.
All
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys for checking us out again. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. These next bear with us for the next couple of weeks because it is going to be a long couple of weeks. Gilbert and I are going to Philly this weekend. Next weekend, I just got approved for UFC 300, so we'll
Shout
be
out.
there.
A lot of fun.
And the weekend after that, if all things are good with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, and then I think we get a. Oh no, we don't. We go straight into it. Right after that, it's the NFL draft. So
And
it's
then
going to
after
be
that
a really
is
easy month.
Canelo Alvarez Cinco de Mayo.
And then Canelo Alvarez. Do you know yet where you're going to be at? Have you thought about it yet or no?
I don't
On
know.
draft night?
Oh, draft night. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's too complicated to say.
Come
but
down.
Hopefully working.
Come down. But
then there's a
obviously-
break after that, right? Nothing else really happens in the NFL.
Yeah, after the Cinco de Mayo is pretty.
Yeah.
pretty
It's
dry.
just mini camp and all
Yeah,
that.
but
other
that
stuff.
doesn't mean anything.
No, it's nothing. No, the next thing is going to be in late June when they're deciding if Conor McGregor and Chandler are going to go at it. But like Gilbert said, the way he looked in that SI interview, it just wasn't. It wasn't good. But obviously, like I said, bear with us. We'll try and get good guests on. We're going to get great content. So make sure you guys tune in for all of that. Maybe we'll have Gilbert do some cheesesteak reviews out in Philly.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what he thinks of that over there. Make sure you guys follow us on all the streaming platforms. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button so as soon as we get stuff out there, you guys can be the first to check it out. Again, thank you guys so much. Awesome episode. We try to pack in 2 episodes into one. So yeah, each of them an hour, and we're under time. So there you
If
go.
You want to think about it that way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But again, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys check out. I don't know if Dan and I will do a What's Up Bolts tomorrow before Dan goes off on vacation, but we will try and do something. But House of Horns will be on Wednesday. And then obviously this weekend, make sure you guys are on the lookout for all the stuff that we will have from WrestleMania. So WrestleMania will be awesome. Gilbert, I don't know yet if Wednesday, BJ Cruz jumps on at 1:00. So make sure you guys tune in. If you guys have any wrestling questions, BJ is great. He will jump on with us. It'll be amazing.
Come on.
God, I'm the worst.
Nobody
I
thought of
should
that.
lock
But
up.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. But he'll be on. He's awesome. He's at Monday Night Raw tonight. He will be on at SmackDown on Friday, and then he will be at WrestleMania over the weekend. We'll see him out in Philly. So make sure you guys tune in. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Gilbert, sabes que? Vámonos.
Yeah, on that note, let's get out of here. Maybe eventually Dan will be invited to my special party
What a
exclusive.
scumbag.
Fernando, I'll invite you. I don't know about Dan, but
What a scumbag.
we'll wait around here. But thank you guys for jumping on for this, I guess, jam-packed show. And we appreciate the support, everybody on the live chat. Shout out to All Good Things. King James saying face exclamation point. I don't know what that means, but
Becky Lynch punched.
oh, yeah, there you go. King
Dominic
James.
Mysterio.
How
There
dare
go.
you?
You're
Dirty
on it.
Dom is protected.
What did you think about the punch, Gilbert? Was it a good one?
Yeah, it's okay for WWE style. It's not bad.
Exactly.
And then Jorge,
was-
shout out to
there
you
was
as
a camera now.
always. Who else? I'm gonna get people shout outs here.
Joe
Joe
Morley.
Morley.
Joe Morley started the show. So
Yeah,
there
in
we
case
go.
you're worried, I never am afraid of this man. Don't you
Oh, yeah.
worry. I will always
I
be
gave
here.
you your opportunity to talk about it. But Dan, thank you for jumping on. You were never scared. I appreciate you. So on that note, ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.